Yeah, a lot of the stuff they did around food, especially with girls, was really fucked up.
Very.
Like, I would say it seemed to me, based on seeing many of these folks have Facebook accounts, that, like, I kind of feel like the average girl was, like, at her heaviest, or at least, like, the heaviest of her 20s, or of her first 20 years of life during there. Or 30 years. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yes. I mean, you're saying...
Like, there's a lot of girls that, like, lost a lot of weight after they left there.
Like, you see them on social media now, and you're like, oh, you look completely different because you weighed significantly more as a teenager.
Yeah, and, like, but they kind of looked like that when they got in, but then they were not allowed to choose their meal size.
Right.
Like, none of the girls were.
Of course not, dude.
Like, they all were like, here's how much food is going on your plate. Like, it's being decided by someone else.
Right.
And we're going to be watching you like a fucking hawk to make sure you eat all of it.
Right. And you may have to eat more of it if you have a problem.
There were people that were required to get seconds. Girls that were required to get seconds.
Yes. Yes. I remember...
That stuff where, like, on a lot of these, I feel like I've had a couple revelations in my understanding when I think about it, because I didn't really think this way at the time. Whenever I think about it, whenever they're worrying about how are the parents going to react.
Right.
And that's one where I thought that would have held more sway. There's no way. I mean, it also would have been a problem if they thought that their daughters were continuing to engage in eating disorders.
Right.
And I don't, like, I never knew any of the girls, like, super well. We were not allowed to talk to them. Right. But all of my female friends before I arrived there had eating disorders, so I assume that it is common.
Yeah, I think it's pretty common. We have to do an episode on gender relations at the school, dude, because it changed a lot. For sure. That you were not allowed to talk to the girls at all?
For most, I mean, like everything else, enforcement waxes and wanes.
Yeah. But we were much more intermingled when I first got there.
Sure.
Certainly.
I mean, there's just fewer students.
Yeah.
And, a lot, like, the classrooms.
Well, of course, yeah.
Yeah, you are going to school with them. The entire time I was there, the classrooms were split up by gender.
Perdóname? What?
Like, there'd be 4 rows of desks, to give an example. One of the rows would just be
Boys
girls.
row, girls row, like that? Okay. I thought you meant fully sex-segregated classrooms.
No. I'm saying within the classrooms, it's not like it would just be like a boy at one desk, a girl at one desk, a boy at one desk, a girl at one desk.
Right. Okay.
Like, they would all be in a group.
Yeah, I don't think it was like that.
Side of the room.
Yeah. Wow. Huh. I mean, I know we had issues, but...
I mean, it had to have been like that your senior year, because that's what I'm, that I recall it being that way the entire time I was there.
Yeah, and, well, so the thing is, I think when I graduated, there was either 9 or 11 kids in my graduating class.
Okay.
I think 2 of them were girls.
Okay.
So they couldn't have a girls' row even.
Okay, yeah, they just put them next to each other.
Yeah.
Problem solved.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I'm thinking, like, I'm trying to picture my classes, and all I'm picturing are my bros, dude.
Yeah.
Obviously very fond memories.
Yeah.
I can't even remember the other girl. I can only remember one that graduated with me.
But, like, my Spanish class was pretty small.
Yeah.
And it was the same, like, I think there was like 5 or 6 of us at most.
Okay.
It might have been 4 sometimes.
And it was like, you can't talk to the girl.
Well, I think it was 2 guys and 2 girls, and it was, like I said, like Tandy, the same person that, kind of half signed off on me hanging out with old friends.
Right.
Was the teacher.
Right.
And all of us, like, there was no, like, new kids in the class. Like, it was all somewhat trusted. So, like, in that setting, like, you were interacting with girls regularly. Now, you were talking about, like, Spanish. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not like it was like, so what's your sign? But, yeah. No, I mean, like, the girl that I got in trouble for saying that she didn't really push back against Suicide Kings the way that she said that she did.
Right.
She was in that Spanish class. That was why. That was why I was like, you think I'm, like, intentionally trying to, like, pick on her? Like,
Yeah.
we have a bond from Spanish class. Like, I wouldn't do that to one of my Spanish class brethren.
Right.
Like, I'm just
Okay.
trying to call it like I see it here, folks.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, is that was one of the things that I kind of looked at from afar is the way that they handled food with girls. Like,
Messed up.
it's kind of different categories of fucked up. There's like the acute events where it's like I saw them do something one night and like that's kind of its own category of like fucked up things.
Right.
And then there's like the ambient, the way that the everyday was structured
Right.
had its own version of fucked up.
Definitely.
And I think one of the most prominent aspects of that was the way they treated the girls in food.
Definitely.
Yeah, I don't know. Speaking for me personally and the stuff about like gaining weight afterwards, like, I don't give a shit, I think that to the extent that any of us are going to be happy in this world is by not really focusing on things like that. Like, of course I think that, right? But that is
what do you mean?
how
Focusing
I
on
feel. I don't think that my self-worth should be based on my weight. Like, not even fucking
No,
close.
dude,
I think but there's obviously a lot of, I would say the majority of the world appears to disagree with me.
Well, you certainly are bombarded with a lot of messages to the contrary. I actually think part of the reason, look, I get what you're saying. I think actually everyone kind of knows that that's bullshit, which is why we have to get bombarded with those messages so much. But that's not to say it doesn't affect you.
But fat people are one of the only groups where there's like so much like hate within the group. Like,
yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah, like there's statistics on this, of like fat people in relationships, like, generally tend to like go out with other people of a similar weight, but like receive giant amounts of abuse from spouses about their weight.
Really?
Whereas, like,
that makes sense. Yeah.
You won't find, like people of another group being like, you're a piece of shit because you're in this group that I'm also in. Whereas, like, fat people will do that to each other.
Oh, really? Yeah, I guess. And then what are you going to do? Sling it back? That hurts both of you, too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's just a circle of pain.
That sucks, man.
And, yeah. So, like, I don't know. I don't, like, there's a lot of... there's a lot of science to support my opinion, but like, of course I am enthusiastic of it because I already held the opinion.
Yeah.
Like there's no science I'm ever enthusiastic for, likes things that confirms things I already know.
Of course, dude. Yeah.
But
it's really the only science I have use for
the most part, like your body's homeostasis that is attempting to achieve is like whatever, your recent previous like high weight was. Like if you lose a lot of weight, and people understand this on some level intuitively, like about how, if you have a diet that you are not going to like whatever, if you lose 20 pounds on a diet, you are in danger of putting 20 pounds back on. I think everyone gets that. But like what's going on there is like your body is like giving you hunger signals because that's what it wants. Like, in the course of human evolution, like, losing weight was not generally seen as an advantageous thing. Like, keeping weight on was a bigger challenge.
Yeah, no, I think that all sounds right. Yeah. I think it depends. I mean...
So something that you were, like, keenly tuned to do, hating yourself for doing that thing, I don't know, dude. Hard to see a path to happiness in that.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think, like, it seems to me, I did lose weight, but mostly because I started smoking weed more and drinking alcohol less.
I'm certainly not saying that no one has ever lost weight. Plenty of people have lost weight.
Yeah, I think cannabis, the weight loss potential for, not that you don't smoke cannabis, I'm not being like, have you considered?
I would say cannabis is responsible for a good portion of my current weight. It affects different people differently.
As an appetite
Whenever I eat
stimulant.
it, I eat everything in the house until,
If I haven't done it in a long time, the first time I do it, it's that classic munchy.
Just every time I do
vibe.
it.
Yeah. For me, after like a few days, it becomes like I'm mostly not hungry if I'm not doing it. And then like, I don't know. But yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, it's hard. That the CPTSD book, I'm trying to remember the name. Maybe The Body Keeps the Score. But it may be the other one. I don't know, but it could be both. But one of the guys says, basically anybody with long-term trauma is going to have food issues. Like it's just basically inevitable because whatever your trauma responses are, like on some level, a way to stimulate the release of, or like the reception of, like the basic like feel good reward chemicals, whether it's because that's what everyone wants as a living being, or you want more because your life is especially fucked up or whatever. It's like you say, like, it's not just like your body biologically homeostatically, wants you to be a certain weight. It's like you're used to certain things releasing feel good chemicals. Like we talked about the cheesesteak meal. It was like when Jamie said you are not eating cheesesteaks, it's like all of our anticipation molecules were going off, getting ready to have the party when we finally got the reward that we had been looking forward to. It's functionally no different from being like, not to catch a predator, but if you could do that with people buying drugs, like if you could Chris Hansen somebody who was thinking they were getting heroin, and then you're like, actually, you're going to jail. It's like that's the functionally same thing because they do the same things in your brain, but you can always say, I'm not going to do heroin anymore and just be part of society. You can never say, I'm not eating anymore unless you just want a new kind of eating disorder. So it's like, I don't know. It's like cigarettes, alcohol, any kind of substance. You can just be like, maybe you won't successfully do it, but you can conceive of a life without it.
People have done it before.
Yeah, the majority. Yeah, everyone does.
No one living too long has quit food.
Exactly. Yeah. And so then it's like, I don't know. It's like, am I hungry or is it like a craving because like this is the distraction I've become inured to? Like I remember I would be at the airport, especially like going to especially stressful engagements. And I remember the Pizza Hut at my gate, like exactly where it was. And I would always like get hungry and like be like, I need to house a fucking personal pan pizza before this flight. But now looking back, I'm like, I'm pretty sure like if you could have smoked weed at the airport, I would have done that, but you couldn't. So I ate the pizza, then. And I don't know, it's like, I keep talking about Gabor Mate's different uses of cannabis. And I feel like there might be a similar approach to food where it's like, you can like it and use it and be like, this is an important part of my life. Like we got Chick-fil-A earlier, sat back, kicked it, ate Chick-fil-A. Like, that was
wonderful.
Yeah, no, that was awesome. But then it's like, if later I'm like stressed about the podcast or whatever, and I'm like, I want another fucking sandwich, dude. You know what I mean? That's like a signal.
See, I never felt like I did a lot of that.
Oh, dude, I'll go Ben Stiller dodgeball, dude. Like, like in certain modes.
Nah, I mean, I have like a very regimented eating schedule. Like I always.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, mine's like disjointed still.
No, I mean it's always been. It's just that like I felt like I hit my limit of eating things that I wasn't actually enthusiastic about eating. Roundabouts the time I was 16 and a half.
What do you mean by that?
My lifetime limit. Like, if just force, like, whenever, like, much respect to him, he's getting the results that he wants to get, but, like, my podcast partner, Jake, will often complain, like, his wife's making quinoa tonight. And I'm like, I don't want to eat that. I'm not going to eat that. Like,
I'm with you, dude. Yeah.
Because, chef salad and quinoa, I want about the same amount, and there was a lot of nights that I had to eat chef salad at fucking Excel. Yeah. And so the idea, like, as I was doing that, like, I was like, never again, dude. Never a fucking again. I mean, you're going to catch me eating some shit I'm not excited about eating.
Yeah. But here's a funny point. Maybe because of Excel training me to love tacos as, like, reward good food, as you know, I'm eating those things, 2 meals a day, easy, 6 days a week, dude. Yeah. I mean, for the listener, it's a beautiful meal. It's 4 ingredients. You got ground beef, taco shell, some beans. Is that it? And salsas.
Cheese.
I don't even do cheese.
Really?
When you don't put it on, if you put black beans, it's like kind of does the same thing in terms of a contrast. Like my wife does like cheese. And so if she's grating it, I'll throw some on every now and then for old time's sake. But throw them on, 5 ingredients, it's still, that's what I'm saying. Very simple meal. pretty good for you, I think. But that's an Excel classic meal. It's kind of interesting.
See, I don't
how
know if
much
this
it's
was
like-
I wasn't making a connection at the time, and I don't want to say that I'm sure that I need to invent one. Probably just the thread is I really like Kraft macaroni and cheese, but I had a thing where before I got sent away, after the family had kind of gone to sleep, I would be like, well, I'm still up, so I'm gonna go down and make
you would
some
make some mac and cheese? Whoa.
And then whenever I don't recall eating. Certainly not prepared the way that I would have prepared it. Kraft macaroni and cheese a single time at Excel.
At Excel?
And then whenever I got out, it was 4 boxes a day.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's what I was saying, at college with pizza, dude. I was like, this is so sick that you can eat pizza whenever.
Yeah.
Or grilled cheese. Because it was they had a cafeteria that would serve meals.
Yeah, we had just
then
that.
there was
You couldn't get pizza all day.
a grill area.
We
That
did
was
have
open all night.
We did have
basically.
I don't know if they served alcohol, but it was a bar. They must have served alcohol. I don't know. I didn't care.
Yeah.
But you could order some food items from there.
Yeah.
But I didn't really find that out till later.
Oh, it was, dude, I would be blitzed at 2 a.m. and just being give me 4 slices of pizza, dude. And just
Great.
yeah, I mean, it was at the time, until I hit that 20 pounds real quick. But, nothing to, a few steps in the other direction of disordered eating couldn't fix.
Yeah, see, I just, I don't really engage in that.
Yeah. No, I do hear you.
Never been.
I don't know. I mean, it's whatever, dude. I'm not here to tell anyone how to live their life. I I don't find myself.
And I want to be clear that me talking about this here is not an invitation for anyone else to tell me how to live my life. This is a topic where if you get talking on it, a lot of times people will take it as well, I have a different perspective, and surely you will have mine if I talk long enough.
Yeah, no.
I don't want to have those conversations. Please.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not. That's what I'm saying, dude.
Yeah.
Plus, I do think there's a whole thing. I don't know, dude. I didn't even know what it was like to live in a body until I really do believe this until a few years ago. I think I think you said a couple episodes ago about you would prefer if you could just be disembodied consciousness. But I do think that in many ways is how many people respond to traumatic experiences. And so that adds a whole nother layer as well. That's what I'm saying, dude. Anyone who went to Excel or who went to anything, if they want to eat whatever, I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's everyone has a hard struggle. And part of the thing, it's actually another really good metaphor because you need food to live. You need people to care about you. You need people for whom to care about to live. And one of the more fucked up ways that places like Excel fuck with you is they make you mistrust or they problematize your relationship with things that should be good and nourishing. And, so definitely, dude. I mean, I have been there. I know what it's like to use food as an opiate, basically. So maybe I'm projecting that out more, when I'm saying it's a coping thing. But I definitely have looked forward to the days of knowing yo, I have some food on the way that I'm going to be comatose after. And I'm looking forward to that. I will own that. I've enjoyed that whole process.
Never been fixated on the feeling after, I just like the taste.
I mean, I like the taste too, but I definitely, now that we're talking about it, I'm yeah, I kind of just being I'm going to be zoned out. TV's going to be on, won't matter what's on. I'm going to just be zoned out. That's looking for a narcotic.
Yeah.
It's maybe
I don't think I've had that experience.
Yeah, I'm learning a lot about myself right now. Anyone else?
I'm sure there are people.
Yeah, but also TC's comment goes, no comments on that. That's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so back to the laundry room stuff.
Yeah.
So I was I was in this situation where the guy who ran the laundry room was someone that they thought that they could trust, but they were wrong.
Okay. Was he from California?
No,
Okay.
he's from Tennessee.
Okay.
Got it?
Got it.
And so, we were talking about Hack earlier. Less so true of him, but like that was definitely something I wanted to make sure was captured about. Like, I don't think that he like told Lee not to do many things. You know what I mean?
Right. I agree.
Like, yeah. So I got in like if no one was around, like I'm sure that he would talk about music he liked and stuff that he liked. And I mean, whenever they got Kitchen Confidential, it's not like they turned it over and said, "This is a book about cocaine use, and we don't think we should read it."
Right.
Like they were like, "Hey, dude, check this shit out."
Yeah. Very true. Very true.
So yeah, but it was definitely much like I feel like Laundry Man would have let a lot of people get away with a lot of things, whereas I think Hack was smarter about it.
Fully, very, very, very. I fully agree with the exact way you put that.
Because I didn't like I knew that Hack would let that for other people, but I did not like attempt like I would never roll up to him and be like, "So who were your favorite bands before you got here?" Like that sounded like a recipe for trouble for me.
That'd be out of place for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there was people who knew his favorite bands before he got there, I'm sure.
Well, that's what I was going to say real quick to your point, and I think you're getting to describe this experience. It's not like just because you would break rules with some people meant that you would break rules with anybody, because somebody could break the trust. It really was a negative contract with everyone. I mean, it wasn't negative, but it was an agreement that we're all going to keep a secret. And so one thing about like getting assigned to either the kitchen or the laundry, sometimes it was the trash crew, like that would take the trash to the dumpsters.
That plays in here.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So like anywhere where you're away, there's a calculus when a new kid is assigned to that group.
Yes.
How are we going to act around him? Are we really going to apply the rules just because TC's
And ultimately,
here?
we just didn't ask enough of those questions. That's
Yeah.
could have really enjoyed some cheesesteak if Everett had, just slowed down and asked some more questions. But so at this time, the laundry crew and the trash crew were the same thing.
Okay.
Because you like it was all a piece. So
because this is the laundry room that's separate from the main lodge by this point, or this is
no,
the
this
same
is still
one?
in the main lodge.
Okay.
I don't know if like there's
I won't hypothesize about how they came together.
Yeah, there's no logical reason they would be.
Okay.
I'm just letting you know it was the case that they were.
Okay, so y'all would take the trash to the dumpster.
There was a family that was assigned, a shadow. The family meant different things at different times, but during the time that Alex and I were there together, my freshman and sophomore years, family generally meant shadow, like the older kid who was shadowing someone, the younger kid that he was watching, and then like a third who was someone, like me that was in neither category. Or sometimes they would have two shadow pairings grouped up, and that was a family.
Sure.
Sure,
quad family.
Just got to make sure we get at least three.
Definitely, of course.
But you were in assigned groups that if you weren't in school, you needed to be, within a couple feet of these people at all times.
Right.
And one of those groups would get assigned to take the trash from the lodge after meals, just put it in like the rolling trash cans.
Right.
And roll all of those trash cans up to the dumpster.
Right.
Which was a good distance away.
Right.
Kind of the other side of campus.
Sure.
And this was more or less the only codified time in the like regular course of the day where you were not around staff members.
Certainly. Yeah.
Because they generally would not, like it was too much of they were too needed to watch the large mass of kids in the lodge to take one of them. Like there's 2 or 3 staff members on duty total. You're not going to devote one of those to watch 4 kids take
just
some dumpsters
some trash
up.
Can get taken out. Yeah.
So the laundry room, I am learning for the very first time that there are kids who will bring people up for like talking about music, but actually if you do it around them in the right situation, they won't stop you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hypocrites.
And this is like where the really, like it turned my head, like it turned my world upside down in a lot of ways. And really started like, I knew that I didn't like everything that was happening.
Really?
But it had not like started to really like come together in my mind that it was wrong.
Okay.
And I started getting some of those, like the germs of the thoughts that I expressed today started in that. And a lot of it was that I was very fixated on the time, that I felt that they were trying to do literal brainwashing conditioning, which they clearly were.
Right.
In this case, I was focused. See, it's always weird because the music thing is such a big thing to me.
Right.
But
it was to me too, yeah.
I don't think that Jamie thought about it very much. I think she's a person who doesn't really connect with music that strongly. And it was more of a hand wavy, like that's a Soviet Russia kind of way that she was cruel. Like the thoughtlessly cruel. I'm not like, I just took away your passion in life and it didn't mean anything to me. Like that kind of, do you understand the distinction I'm making?
I do. And
there was stuff where she wanted to hurt you about something.
Yeah.
And so she would attack you on that. But then there was a lot of ways in which she hurt you that like was just a byproduct of the fact that she ran the institution and she cared about some things and didn't care about others.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you in terms of like Jamie did not give a fuck that people missed music. I mean, as a refresher,
because I don't think she would have missed music.
No, we'll see. This is where I get a little bit of a quibble because the music rules were so much more personalized when I first got there because the school was smaller. And I'm not saying Jamie herself felt this way. Like, I don't think, dude, first of all, what the fuck music was Jamie listening to during her drug days? I would love to know that, dude. I'm picturing like hair metal, 80s, and some country ass shit. They're out in New Caney, dude. You know what I mean? But
yeah, I don't know.
I don't think it's like the best drug music, maybe, is what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, so maybe she just doesn't get how sick it is.
She probably wasn't the music person in the house,
Yeah, but she loved certain songs. Like, I think I referenced on the last episode the fucking Pay It Forward song, that We Need Some Help Down Here on Earth. So that's Billy Gilman. And the song is so fucking corny. She sees Pay It Forward, dude. She doesn't tell us it's from Pay It Forward. This is pre-Pay It Forward era. But I'm assuming that's where she saw the song. Maybe she just heard it on the radio. But she made us come in, and she was very good at this with parent-based presentations also, the use of music, to reach emotional crescendos. She was well aware of how to deploy that very effectively. Like, remember with her slideshows at graduations with, like, I Hope You Dance.
Yeah, dude, of course I do.
Yeah. Like, she'd be like, and you can be somebody. Or the fucking Prince of Egypt. Were you there for that one?
No.
There Can Be Miracles. Whitney and Mariah on the same song.
Maybe. Now bring come back.
I think she used it quite a bit. Yeah. But she made us all put our heads down and listen to the Billy Gilman song as a life skills about a narrative about a kid who like is upset because his parents couldn't get him a nice bike for Christmas or something. And it was one of those scenarios, even that early, where the whole room you could kind of feel was like a little bit embarrassed for Jamie, but also embarrassed for ourselves because we had to play along with this nutcase. Yeah. But everyone was like, is she serious with this fucking 8-year-old, like, maudlin, country song?
The ways in which class play into this with her are very interesting to me now.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you. Yeah, I fuck with a lot of the country music that I learned from that school, but there was a class cultural element, I suppose.
Like her lineage, they're like, they are low class people.
Well, you mean in terms of on the socioeconomic ladder? I just, for the listener, I know what you mean, and I'm saying in your heart, you just when you say low class, this isn't how you meant it, but I just want to make sure no one hears it a different way. We're not equating any
No,
positioning.
I'm a socialist. I'm obsessed
Exactly.
with
I don't know if
elevating. I know. That's why I'm
Yeah.
stating it for the record here. I spend an unreasonable amount of time thinking about what are ways in which we could elevate the lower classes.
Right.
So whenever I say low class, it's not a pejorative. It's an observation.
Right.
Like, I am looking at those as like, those are my folks. They understand.
Right.
But, it
Whereas
is.
I am an elitist. But
The man went to law school, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
You can peg him,
You can't. Well,
you know what I mean? You can identify him. Plenty of lawyers are into pegging, I'm sure.
I'm sure. Yeah, definitely. But I'm not a lawyer right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to be pretty soon, though. But no, there was, okay, so
just the way it played in, I mean, it's entering in this one in a way where she's kind of unaware of it. Mm-hmm. But it's an essential part of understanding it is that she is the kind of person who earnestly listens to country songs and doesn't understand that other people don't do that.
No, well, she did understand that because, I mean, I hear what you're saying, but the real quick anecdote, dude, this is before any of her family worked at the school. The first time I met any of her family, she took a group of us. I think we became the crew that did all the landscaping on one of their old houses that they like bought out of their own money, not like that became part of the school. But for whatever reason, we went to Nana's house and Jamie said to us, it was me, another girl, and then like probably two other kids. And Jamie said to us almost apologetically, and she was embarrassed, not us. But she was like, because she knew she was running a school with kids whose parents could pay a pretty hefty tuition. And there was a bit of an awkwardness because part of her, I think, loved the sense that she was kind of getting one over on, I don't think they're her betters, but what society had deemed her betters. You know what I mean? Like, all y'all are so rich and educated.
That's why I'm flagging this.
Okay, yeah. But there was also an inferiority complex at play. Where she
also
felt,
why I'm flagging this.
Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah. So it was all encapsulated there. So we're coming in, we're under like her, we can't do anything. We can't sneeze. We're like so scared basically to like do something wrong. And she's worried about us and what we think of where she comes from and her parents, even though we're the teenagers that she can send to jail or whatever. And she's like, look.
She's probably just used to being embarrassed.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
She, in every time she'd brought anyone in that environment ever. So why change it?
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, I remember comforting Jamie, dude, by being like, no, it's cool. Like, no, this is fun. Like, cause she was like, it's my family. They're a little rednecky. It's not what y'all are used to, but they're good people, like in their heart. It actually reminds me of one time I went out to a client that was like in the heartland, so to speak. And the guy who like was their lawyer that I worked for, he meant it well. And he was like, they're good people. Like, he was like, they're competent, they're simple, but they're competent. Like, and it's like, yeah, no, you're making them sound like they're kind of like idiots. You know what I mean? Like, but they're actually, he's like, no, they're like really smart. Anyway, I'm not saying he was making fun of them. I'm not saying Jamie was making fun of her own mother, but she was like very nervous and like sheepish. Sheepish is the word, dude, which is.
I just think that's a big piece of understanding her accurately is that she was both proud that these people from a class above hers were sending their literal children to her.
Yeah.
While also like could not shake that, this is like that kind of they're all going to laugh at you feeling.
Right.
And like that,
right.
That drove a lot of things for her, I think.
Yeah, I think so, dude. You know what else? Another dynamic that maybe it evokes. I have a few friends that have been in the military. And they went in as like commissioned officers, like while we were in college. Mm-hmm. And so their boot camp is by a guy who was not that and who, the minute they graduate the boot camp, they will outrank him. And so the only time he outranks them is like when he gets to beat the shit out of them.
That doesn't sound that fun.
You know what I mean? I was like, I kind of know that dynamic, dude.
That's
like,
it. You're right. That captures it.
It's like, it's a tough time.
Like, I mean, it's literally true. By the time you have a high school diploma, you have surpassed her accomplishments.
Definitely.
And like, she knows that.
Yeah.
And she doesn't like it.
Yeah.
And it is going to affect the way she treats you.
Definitely. I mean, look who was the one that would ban books periodically.
Yeah.
And who would like the kids who started to do well in school. A lot of times she would fuck with that as like a source of strength for those kids. I really do believe that.
But yeah, so her whole business with music, I mean, I'm basing this, like, whenever it kind of, like, first occurred to me, like, because whenever I initially showed up and they were obsessive about the music stuff, I was like, well, I hate it, but I got to give it up to him. That's perceptive. Like, it is a big part of the person I was that they're telling me that I don't want to be anymore. And so I, like, thought that we all just, like, understood that, like, obviously Korn is, like, a fucking atom bomb of the soul.
I listened to Korn today, by the way.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Chutes and Ladders.
Nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, so that's kind of how I thought of it. And then there was a time, this was after you left, where she was like, maybe we're going to start opening it back up. Let's have different kinds of music. I mean, we didn't have a single fucking different thing.
Yeah.
You know, there was a lot of big talk.
Yeah.
She liked grandiose visions.
Yeah.
Like, she loved coming in and being like, but a couple bounce houses for the day. Go nuts. Just because, I mean, when do you have more power than that?
That's true. It's very much like the, like, drunken parent. And it's like,
oh, yeah.
Well, one time
big
out
time
of 10,
dad weekend energy.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Yeah. It's like, usually
here's a fucking
rough,
pony. Enjoy.
Exactly, dude. Yeah, she literally did that.
Yes.
Yeah, I got goats. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, I guess you got to fucking stay up with them or something. I don't know. I'm out of here.
not my deal.
Goats now.
Yeah.
This will teach you about responsibility. Yeah. That's like very drunk dad energy. Don't complain about the goats. I worked so hard to get you.
Yeah. The goats, you love the goats.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so she was doing that. She was on Dad Energy Weekend, Dad Weekend Energy, and was like, let's get into different kinds of music. What do you guys think? Let's throw out some names.
Yeah.
And kids started saying, like, hey, here's some like uplifting stuff I listen to that I think would be helpful to me. And every single time she'd be like, haven't heard of it.
Yeah.
Next.
And
then started saying like, don't tell me artists, don't tell me albums, just like hum a little bit of it.
Yeah. That's very Trump energy with music.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. Just like, perform the melody for me.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you.
Not going to know it by the name.
Yeah.
You know?
Just,
the band is obviously way far afield.
Definitely
but if you can give me a couple notes, maybe I've heard it on the radio.
Definitely.
And that was when I was like, no, it's not, at least it's not exclusively that she understands the power.
Yeah.
It's that she doesn't care. Like, this was not a hard thing for her to, like, scrape out of my life because it wouldn't have been hard for her to scrape out of hers.
Yeah, I see what you mean. And so she didn't really care about making new rules or relaxing them or how much it could have helped people to have music. Like, dude, music is such a healing gift, dude.
It is.
For me, at least. Yeah, I agree. The other thing that this reminds me, which is maybe fucked up, just a different side of the same coin, is, dude, Sally did know how much music meant because we got fucking live MTV Unplugged, Sally, life skills.
We've talked about that here.
I think we scrapped that one.
Okay.
But
really?
I think so.
That's unfortunate.
But dude, I'm just saying, dude, everything you're saying for Jamie, the reverse goes for her. And she was still... During
my time there, she played very little role in setting the rules.
Yeah, but she invented the, like, no music rule. I mean, that's formative shit. Like, that's fucking in the 10 Commandments of Excel.
Yeah.
Like, God put those on the tablets.
Yeah.
But a lot of it was, like, admitting that songs meant a lot to you and putting them away. Like, it became part of your big journey. They were like, it was a big deal for kids to admit that certain oldies songs were get high songs for them. Because this is in the 90s, so songs on the oldies could conceivably still be get high songs. Like, I had friends, I listened to like the more trippy Beatles and smoked weed before I went to Excel.
I had Hendrix albums.
Hendrix, The Doors.
Never liked the Doors at any point in my life. That's the great the great tragedy of me getting put on 6 months for talking about the Doors.
You didn't even fuck with them?
I don't like talking about the Doors.
I mean, they're not great, dude. I listened to them before Excel because, like, I heard they were a cool drug band. But
you heard wrong.
I know, dude. I mean, they're just not that tight.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, so, the seeds of anti-Excel thought that were forming, the first ones that I had was just that they were doing this thing around music where they were saying reflexively anything made after, 1972
Yeah, it's
was
a good
bad.
cutoff here. Yeah.
And like that you should feel bad for listening to it, talking about it, etc. That was the big thing that I was focused on, is that they were...
And you believe that?
Intentionally... what?
Like, are you saying until, like, when you were, like, kind of going with the program, did you believe in your head, would you be like, stop singing these songs?
No.
Okay, that's what I was asking.
What I'm saying is that it became apparent to me that what they wanted was for me to have that.
Yeah.
That was their goal.
Right.
And that this was like the start of, I'm like I could tell that all of it, that I didn't agree with it.
Right.
But to realize that it wasn't just something that I didn't like, it was something that was wrong. Like that if I got a chance to argue my case in front of a neutral arbiter, that I could win against Jamie, to be like, like that song that you're talking about from Pay It Forward.
Right.
Prior to her coming in, that would have clearly been considered inappropriate. A kid could have gotten in trouble for singing that. Like, if she didn't know, whatever. If
yes.
Yeah.
Now, there's inappropriate and there's inappropriate, though. To be fair. There's a scale. Like...
There's kids that have gotten redshirted for less than that, dude. You know,
I know
that.
Dude. But you also know that there's a scale. So, like, if a kid
dude, I would say one of the central fucking frustrations of that place is that there was not a scale. There was supposed to be one. There was supposed, you were supposed to have an understanding that, like, songs that were explicitly about drugs were worse. But it didn't matter. It was just fucking whoever was, like, if you, as a strength, sang something that was, like, explicitly about drugs, and then I got brought up for singing something, but I was, like, in the shit house, like, I would have gotten in more trouble.
Yeah, because you're in the shit house, for sure. But
so there's not a thing.
No, well, that's just like the rules are always going to be arbitrary for someone in the shit house. Like, no matter what it is. And there's no scale of any rules in that example because you'll always get it worse. Like,
what I'm saying is there's no scale of any rules.
Yeah, that is what, but there is, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, because if you came in there singing, like, Cypress Hill, Hits from the Bong, dude, it's rap. And I'm going to say it, is made by people who aren't white. And it's about drugs. Those are worse than an 8-year-old white kid country song. Like, if you still could get in trouble.
I understand the function of the scale that's supposed to be there. I'm just saying that if you were clinging to that to save you, you were going to fucking not be saved.
Nothing's going to save you ever, dude.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, well, then let's dispense with this idea
but it could, like, I'm saying nothing's going to guarantee save you if Jamie wants you in trouble. But you could conceivably be like, I'm sorry, I thought it was a Christian country song that is positive from a movie we saw or whatever. And she would be like, all right, don't do it again.
It's a crapshoot. I wouldn't want to play.
I'm not saying it was, dude, I'm not saying it's a good way to run anything. I'm just saying, like, Cypress Hill, Hits from the Bong, you're dead. There are songs where it's like, you may not be dead. That's all. But you could be. But you could be. Yes. But that's the scale.
So they have a situation where they want you to feel bad about, like, this whatever, Billy Gilman. Like, they want you, whenever you have that Billy Gilman song come on your head, for you to stop yourself singing it in your head. Like, that was what their goal was.
I see what you're saying, yeah.
And so I feel like if I could sit in front of a regular, reasonable person and, like, have to argue out, like, is this actually immoral to, in your head, sing Billy Gilman lyrics?
Right.
Like, I think I could win that case pretty easily, even as a fucking 14-year-old.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I agree.
that was very
with you.
frustrating to me at the time, like knowing that I would not fucking get such a hearing.
Yeah. I mean, look, I don't want to take away that hearing now, so I won't.
Thank you. But yeah, so, I'm in the laundry room, breaking rules with kids, doing that sort of thing, thinking these thoughts. I don't know, They it mattered to me a lot at the time and still do, but apparently Alex doesn't find them persuasive.
What thoughts? All I was going to say was
They're trying to stigmatize behavior that wasn't wrong.
I know. It's like driving, but I think it's like, it's not quite like the example where it's like driving on one side of the road is not right or wrong. It's just you got to pick one. I'm not saying that's what this was, but you understand that concept where something's not inherently wrong. It's just like you got to function a certain way. You know what I mean? Like no one goes to hell for driving on the wrong side of the road, but if you refuse to drive on the right side of the road, you're going to kill people because everyone's decided. I think I'm bringing that up.
Yeah, I don't come close to seeing the parallel to the
right, it's
situation
not a parallel,
here.
Dude. It's an analogy. I think it's more the rule, don't talk about anything that's not oldies, was meant to be a blunt force instrument to avoid the need to do a case-by-case assessment. So I think they always would have acknowledged Billy Gilman is not going to be deleterious to anyone's sobriety.
No.
But we can't.
You're wrong about that.
No, I'm telling you because we used to, were you there when we had to do wrongs? Like it was called the wrongs. There was a folder. It said wrongs. And everyone every day had to write down like 10 things they did wrong.
No,
it's
I don't
fucking
recall
sick
that.
era, dude. Like, yeah. And there was a kid that had to read all the wrongs and then like flag any that were really bad. And like,
Jesus,
I know. And so like, there was a lot of like sorting. It was one of these like Jamie ideas that she didn't see through at all. But then a kid was like, well, we need a database. She was like, of course we need it. Can you do that? Great. Like this kid learned Microsoft Access. It's like, I didn't even know. Have you ever heard of Access?
Nope.
It was the database, like part of the Office suite.
Okay.
And he had every student and like a list of all these, he had like 10 different categories. He later became the guy that read the mail with me. Mm-hmm. He was like the mail guy. He was very like kind of obsessive and systematic in his thinking. So the only reason I bring that up is to say there was shit like that where people would like be like, I was singing these songs in my head or whatever. And Jamie would be like, don't worry about that. Like, I'm like...
Yeah, okay, you can have that experience, dude. I had the experience of sitting there and having them tell you that, like, if you fucking allow a snippet of that to go in your head, then you're a bad person.
I mean, maybe, I guess.
The fact that you had that experience does not negate mine.
Bro, I'm not trying to... I'm saying, you can... whenever you get in front of this neutral arbiter, dude, I don't want to take that away from you. I'm just saying,
I'm not getting in front of a neutral arbiter.
Well, I know, dude. I think... I guess they sat there and told you what you said. I'm not saying they didn't, dude. I'm saying in my experience, they didn't actually think you're going to go to jail if you heard a country song on your dentist appointment and you're humming it later. You know what I mean? They wouldn't be like, that has to get out of your head or you're going to die. Like the way they would about like if you had music that you associated with drugs.
I would say one of the central problems I had with them is that I saw them over and over absolutely and utterly fail to make the distinction you're claiming that they regularly made.
Oh, I'm saying they were done making it. That's why they made the rule, dude. They didn't want to make it. That's why the rule was oldies only. So, but I don't think they actually... You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I think that it's, entirely against the actual experience. Like, you're talking about... some like idealized version or like the intent. The intent of any of these things didn't fucking matter the second they were out of their mouth. What mattered was like the ways in which it like impacted upon our lives. And if you think that like, years and years after they made this thing about like, some of that stuff after 1972, some of it might be good, some of it might be bad, but just, to save us some time and adjudicate this clearly, we're just going to have to say like, let's just leave it all out. Like that sort of attitude was nowhere to be found in the place that I had to spend 4 years at. It was that the music that was inappropriate was bad. And if you were singing it, you were bad. And if you were singing it in your head, that you should fucking avoid that.
So I think I see what you're saying. And I think it's because they were in the same paradigm that you're in, which is it's like a control issue. Once you make the rule, if someone breaks it, they're bad. So they make the rule, no music after oldies. Someone sings a song made in the 80s, right? It's not inappropriate.
Yeah.
They're singing, fucking Born in the USA. That's actually a good example, dude. So we started getting CDs after 9/11.
Yeah, we did have that on a CD, though. I think.
And it was a big open question. Is this appropriate or not? It's not an oldie.
I remember I got to listen to it.
Well, obviously, dude, 9/11 trumps everything.
Yeah.
Like, it was on 9/11 compilations.
We got to watch Bruce recorded, like, just from his home studio, version of Thunder Road, like, for one of the, like, firemen that had died. Like, he's like...
Beautiful.
Heard this one was your favorite, bud.
But you see what I'm saying?
It's going out to you.
That song's from 1975.
On 9/11 of 2002, they like brought us they taped all the network news coverage of it, and we got to watch Bruce Springsteen doing a little solo Thunder Road.
That's awesome, man. I was at Excel. I don't remember this.
The part where they cut it off, like where they were like, running up to the VCR trying to hit stop, was the network news thing included a segment where it was the widows being like, so what'd you hear about the body parts that were found? Like of your husband, like of being like, yeah, someone told me like his fucking ankle was like 8 blocks away. Like,
Jesus Christ. Dude.
I know.
Wow.
They were like, cut that off.
That is kind of gruesome.
Yeah, no, I think I think it was a normal decision by them to cut it off, and an odd decision by the CBS producers to leave it in.
The odd time when we're both going to say the school was right on their censorship. Yeah. I mean, because there were kids there who had, I don't think parents, but family members die in 9/11, dude. I wouldn't be trying to hear that shit.
Rick Pitino's brother-in-law.
Also him. Was he Excel connected or just the guy who died in 9/11?
No, you know Rick Pitino? You know Rick Pitino.
Of course, dude.
Okay.
Of course.
He recently, within the last couple of years, was fired from Louisville because assistants under him hired strippers and hookers to come and
that's ringing a bell.
have sex with high school students that he hoped would become basketball players at Louisville.
Okay.
And the dorm that they were brought to was named for his brother-in-law that died in 9/11. Like, it was the athletic dorm. And, like, he's Rick Pitino, so he got strings pulled to name it after his brother-in-law who died in 9/11.
Okay. So, honestly, it sounds like Louisville was kind of disrespecting 9/11 victims everywhere.
That's sort of what I'm thinking.
Fired this guy.
Yeah. When they fired him?
Yeah.
I kind of think that whenever they allowed the...
I could see that.
Hiring hookers for 17-year-olds, it's just not something you want to do.
No.
I mean, obviously we have a generally anti-rules stance here, but you got to have some, and that's one I would put in.
Yeah. Well, I think they should get to hire their own. We're a personal liberty podcast here as well, I think.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah?
I'm going to have to think on that one a little more.
That's a tough one for the online leftists.
Can young people hire sex workers?
Yeah.
Like, sex work, I want to be clear, of course I'm okay with.
Yeah.
I say that, I want to, for anyone, I'm not a regular buyer. I realize the way that I said that, it's like, it's going to come off as this dude loves hiring hookers. I've not paid for sex to this point in my life. At least not directly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
You know what I'm talking about?
Don't I?
I think that, of course, everyone, we're all adults here. People should be able to make their own decisions.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
But so we're going through the laundry room. We're talking about music. We're connecting honestly. We're talking about our memories of 9/11.
Okay.
Because the guy who I think was technically the shadow of the dude, he was from northern New Jersey.
Okay.
And I think could see the towers from where he was, something like that.
Respect.
And just a wonderful soul. Hope he's doing well. And,
yeah, I think I know who you're talking about.
I mean, that was the one I enjoyed talking with more than anything.
That dude?
Being able to speak freely with him, that was
Was
really
he
cool.
a gentle giant?
I mean, he's a great guy. Like
Was he tall?
He had yeah.
Okay. There are a
There's
lot of kids from New Jersey, so
there were not that many dudes who liked like punk music, and I certainly did.
Okay. Yeah.
And he certainly did. He was in a punk band.
Okay. What's up?
So I don't know. That to me at the time that felt like finally someone who understands how cultured I am.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that feeling when I first connected with somebody who liked the same music as me. We would during cleanup time after meals, there was like more kids than jobs a lot of times. Mm-hmm. So we would say we were going to go clean the windows and maybe kill flies, I think. And we would just like sing rap songs to each other.
Nice.
And it was like, you only remember a hook or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you know this one?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, that one's sick. That's the whole conversation.
Yeah.
But it like means so much.
It's great.
It's like,
just
really,
get giddy thinking about it.
Yeah, because it's like it's a bond, man, and it's like you're breaking away from this oppressive structure to talk about something that makes you happy, and it's a
And
rush.
my experience was that like the only thing that most kids wanted to talk about was rap music, and I just didn't really like it.
You tried to talk to me about punk music, I wonder what I would have probably just been like, I don't know those bands.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we've talked about music. I know some punk bands, I guess.
Yeah, no, I mean it's it didn't turn out to be like a real. I mean, I still listen to some of it, but it was a kind of a short-lived phase that didn't have as much lasting impact as some others.
Yeah, well, it's a youthful music,
but it was one that I was in like kind of like right before I was leaving. Like that was whenever I was really like I'd bought a Black Flag CD.
Oh shit!
Within the last couple months before I arrived, and
I never got that far down.
That meant a lot to me. I mean, I know I've told you about this before, but Henry Rollins kept a journal during the 80s whenever he was touring with Black Flag, and at some point published that journal.
Okay.
And so my summer before I got to Excel, read that whole thing, and I don't know, like, it's insane to me that a 14-year-old read that. Like, it's I don't know. I mean, I'm very interested to find what it is about today, but I remember the central theme that he returned to over and over is that drawing breath is not being alive.
Whoa.
That there are, like you got to get the juices flowing. And like he would talk about
dude,
like
he's a fucking psycho, dude.
Yeah.
Like I read a Pitchfork interview with him a couple years ago, and I got the sense he's massively mellowed out now. So I wonder what he would say about those old journals. Like,
I'm sure anyone who kept a journal in the 80s doesn't feel the same way about it now,
dude.
right?
Dude, wait, was he in Black Flag?
Yeah.
Shit, dude. This shows how much I know. I tweeted, like, within the last week, rap game Henry Rollins, dude. That's kind of what I consider myself. But
I mean, I don't think he was the original lead singer. I think they had several.
Who's Ian MacKaye?
That's a great question, Alex.
As
a self-avowed, recently described huge punk fan, I guess I should know.
When you said Black Flag,
they've had several singers. It might be that he was one of them.
Okay,
maybe he was the original one. Because the thing starts with him. He's like working at a Haagen-Dazs in Washington D.C. and
I love Henry Rollins.
Goes to see Black Flag play and is like, man, if I could just get up there.
Wow.
And then finds an opening and is able to do it and lives off of just nothing. Like just living in like a shack in the guitarist's house, like whenever he's off of tour, and then just doing whatever on tour. The craziest experience for me is he describes in there getting a guitar stolen. I swear to God this happened.
Henry Rollins? I'm surprised he can even play guitar.
I'm not sure that it was his.
Okay.
But I'm just saying the band got a guitar
Okay,
stolen.
okay.
He describes it in the book. You know, he's like, I mean, if you were in a touring band and one of the instruments got stolen, surely you would note it in your journal.
For sure.
We were on a family trip to Seattle as I was reading it on the plane up there and like whatever. We actually weren't in Seattle. My uncle used to live. He's passed now, but lived in like the woods across the sound. It was fucking tight.
That sounds sick.
His setup was amazing.
Yeah.
And so the long bus trips, you know, like just family or van. Rental van trips like back to the city. I'd just be reading this thing.
Yeah.
And so the day before, the Experience Music Project had opened recently.
What's that?
It's like a music museum in Seattle.
Okay.
It's near the Space Needle.
Okay.
They've got some Jimi Hendrix guitars, stuff like that.
Sure.
And so I read the thing of the guitar being stolen, and I went to the EMP the next day, and it was there.
Dang, dude. Whoa.
Would love to know.
Yeah.
How, like, what's the provenance of all of it?
Yeah.
But yeah,
God's
dude,
plan, dude.
I mean, it was one of those Lucite guitars, you know, Lucite, like the clear ones.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So not incredibly, like if it was like he said that they had gotten a Stratocaster stolen, and I saw a Black Flag Stratocaster, I wouldn't be like, oh fuck.
Right.
But it was a very specific.
Right. Clearly.
Yeah. But yeah, so having a good time, talking punk music,
Okay.
doing good stuff, fun stuff.
Yeah.
And whenever we would go, especially on the trips to take out the trash,
Yeah.
we'd just kind of scheme up ways. What's the most ways we can break the rules?
Okay.
How far can we push this thing? We're all feeling pretty giddy about the fact we can talk so openly about music for most of the
you boys
day.
are wilding out, dude. You're flying close to the sun.
Where can we take this?
Yeah, where do you take this?
And I was always clear that I was not wanting to go along. Like, I was certainly not going to say anything. They had my full support. It sounded tight, but I'd made a commitment with my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ that I was going to live a sober lifestyle.
By then,
that was important to me at that time.
Good. So you weren't trying to get fucked up off that homegrown.
But they were.
Okay.
So that's when...
So what were they trying to do? What was the fucking brain trust in the laundry room coming up with? I really want to know. The Kitchen Boys, I'm getting fucked up with the Kitchen Boys if I have to pick somebody to get high with. What are these guys coming up with?
You're right to be skeptical. I want to be clear, you know. I mean, I don't want to like put them on an island, but this wasn't. It's certainly whenever they pitched this idea, it's not like I was like, no fucking shit, shut the fuck up. I was like, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Okay.
But it's clearly comically wrong.
Okay.
They said that if you left orange peels in a dark area, it would turn into acid.
That's exactly right, is my understanding. All right. It's as simple as that. What do? You eat them?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
You just let them
remember
rot.
This.
There's something about fermenting, possibly.
Yeah.
Certainly that word is thrown around some.
Obviously. Okay. Yes. Orange peels in the dark.
And I think it was just they would save their personal orange peels and talk about the plans. I don't think that they were like fishing orange peels out of the trash.
Yeah.
It was for breakfast most mornings.
You could eat an orange.
You could eat an orange.
Yeah.
So they're saving the orange peels. And I was with them whenever they ate them because it was like on the walk up to the garbage.
Okay.
And remember, like, is it kicking in yet?
Yeah. Oh. So they actually were like, let's get fucked up.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I thought you meant you were with them as they were eating their oranges so that they could have peels.
No.
Like I was like, all right, we're taking out the trash. We're peeling oranges.
We'd been working on this for several weeks.
Oh,
they
so
were thinking
like,
that it was kind of
like us at the lake. Like, let's lift off.
Drop the bean.
Okay, nice. And then they're like, "Are you feeling it?"
Yeah, I just would ask them, like, what's it like? What is life on the other side?
Yeah.
And I remember one of them being like, "Everything looks so clear."
Yeah, it's probably because you're sober.
Yeah, dude, you just ate some fucking fungus. It tasted bad. That's the extent of it.
Yeah.
But
that
so
rules.
So they're just getting wild off it, dude.
Okay. Yeah,
Getting gone off
I'm
those
sure,
orange
dude.
peels.
Yeah.
And at this point, they were leaving the family more or less intact, but added a kid. I think that it was that the dude who the laundryman was shadowing was still on shadow, or he might have gotten off during that time and just stayed back there.
Okay.
Or was just viewed as not really a problem. So you could give laundryman 2 shadows.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. If you don't have like a super problematic kid, you can handle two regular ones in some cases.
In the laundry room especially. Like it's like you're all just sitting in the laundry room.
Yeah.
So that kid showed up, did more talking than anyone.
Okay.
Definitely took the orange peels.
Okay.
Fully participated.
Okay.
And then at some point decided that the most advantageous thing for his life was for him to walk into the office, find Christy, and tell her everything.
Okay. Wait. Does this kid have a name that is similar to mine?
Kind of.
Does it start with the same letters?
It does.
Bro! Yeah, I was there when he told on y'all. I think this is unbelievable.
Well, then tell me everything.
Bro, I think he might have told me first.
Okay.
I think this might have been.
Go on, good sir.
Yeah, no, I mean, okay. He's from
Texas.
Yeah. It's definitely then. Okay. He's pretty good at soccer.
I don't remember if he's good at soccer. I just remember he's a fucking rat, dude.
Okay. Did he go to La Hacienda?
He did?
Yeah. Yeah, it's that kid, dude.
I know.
Dude,
you don't have to convince me.
So I guess I technically told on y'all, dude. My bad. But you think I'm going to let it ride when that kid's coming to me with some shit?
Dude.
The buck does not stop with me, dude.
You're imagining criticism from me that I under no circumstance would make.
No, it's just always funny to be like, oh, yeah, I guess technically. Dude, I've never flipped something so fast in my life.
I'll bet.
Because, dude.
Kids are making drugs. I mean, clearly not making drugs, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I didn't know all the way you explained it now. Like all I heard was like kids are trying to make drugs. I think if you had put a gun to my head, I would have said banana peels, but it was some sort of peel fermentation scheme. And so he tells me, and it's like in an afternoon time. And I remember like immediately I was like, okay. Don't tell anybody else about this.
That's not waiting for life skills.
No, it was like so Christy was leaving and I just go, hey, Christy, can so-and-so and I walk you to your car? And like, that's not a normal thing. Yeah. I'm not like one of those kids.
It does happen.
Yeah. But I don't be doing that, you know? So she was like, and we like make eye contact and I'm like, yeah, like, please, you're going to want to do this.
So do you recall like so he did that a couple times. Not to me, because I'm not going to be burned more than once.
Yeah.
Like, I'm dumb, but I'm not that dumb.
Yeah.
But I watched him repeat that 3 or 4 times. And so I did not see a lot of other people. Like, there would certainly be kids who would kind of decide it was advantageous to flip, but he was the most enthusiastic about it.
Yeah, definitely.
And then in a day was like, but I'm telling on everyone.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was such an interesting. It reminds me of the guy in Silence that keeps on ratting them out to the Japanese.
The Japanese guy.
Yeah. But just but then comes back every time. Dude. He's that's the movie, dude.
Yeah. That's my man, dude. I love him.
I could spend the rest of my life thinking about him and people like him.
He rules,
and
dude.
The kid we're talking about is one of those people. Possibly like the most prominent example in my life.
I was going to say he reminds me of Tekashi 6ix9ine, dude.
A little bit.
Just like gleefully snitching on everybody.
Yes.
But yeah, I guess he's the same way too.
But
yeah.
So
well, this was.
I don't know how specific your memories are, but I would love to know everything he said.
Well, he was just like some guy. I don't remember him. I guess I remember him saying the guy who was running the laundry. Mm-hmm. And I remember like they're trying to make drugs, and it was the first time anyone in my memory had any kid in any context was being accused of like trying to make drugs from things at school. Like I knew I'd seen enough like jail movies to know you can make like the hooch or whatever. So I'd always kind of in the back of my mind been like, when's some kid gonna try that? But it had never, to my mind, happened since I had been there. So I think it had to have been the first time he told on everybody. Because I remember being like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I have to elevate this immediately.
No, he got there after me. So I know his... I was there the entire time he was there. I know his cycle. This was the first time.
I think the thing I'm thinking of, it was like... It wasn't one of his repeats.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, fuck, dude.
Because I remember Christy being... Like, it was Christy found out. Christy told Jamie.
Yeah. So
Jamie came in shortly before dinner started and said,
so that's
this food that's here,
that's
you're not eating
cheesesteak
it.
time for you?
Yeah.
Holy shit, dude. Yeah, I must be thinking of a different cheesesteak time because I fully remember being there when he told on y'all. So all I did was like, I didn't even try to get the details right or anything. I was just like, Christy, can so-and-so and I walk you to your car? And she's like, yeah, okay. And then she's already outside. So we were like by the lodge. So then we're walking and I just go, tell her what you told me. Like without even like, and then he just said basically like the laundry guy and some other guys are like, you know, trying to make drugs. I don't think he was like, there, you taking these drugs. You know, like it was news to me when you said guys were like, are you feeling it? Yeah. Like I always thought, I pictured like peels in a bucket and they were trying to make them into drugs and then they got told on before they were able to. So that's news to me. So it wasn't like an elaborate accusation. It was just like making drugs. Like was enough to fucking.
And I guess he
everything.
probably just went to you and like said what was going on. Like it's not like every time something that occurs that someone says all of their motivations and what's on their mind.
No, dude.
But I wish he had, because that would be interesting information to me.
I wonder, dude. Yeah, I mean, it had to have been like regular kid thinks he's going to be safe by giving up other people, I think. Like, I liked that kid, actually, but he snitched a lot.
I mean...
Like, a lot.
It was an interesting thing because, he was there for another year after this incident occurred.
Yeah.
And there would be times that I would have to shadow him or something like that.
Ooh.
And
so you would watch him?
I think so. Even
though he had told on you for being part of a group, but you weren't the ringleader.
We can get into it in a second here.
Okay.
But it was just such a complicated thing of I would find him somewhat charming. He was funny too. And then would hate myself for not being sufficiently rigid in have you seen Talladega Nights?
Yeah, but if this is going to be another Step Brothers, you should just assume I haven't.
Whenever, like Will Ferrell's on the phone with Cal, and Cal's like stolen his wife, and he's in Will's house. And Cal keeps on trying to be nice and be like, so what have you been up to, man? He'd be like, fucking not living in my house because you kicked me out, you piece of shit. And he's like, yeah, sorry that went that way. You know how this stereo works?
Yeah.
Like, it's like that. It's
he
like,
was kind of like that,
I'm supposed to hate you. Just let me hate you, goddammit.
You snitched on the whole school,
you
basically.
fuck shit up for me, dude.
Dude, even when he told me about that, I was like, bro, this is not going to go well for you. Like, the number of names he listed, like, when I was like, who's doing this?
That's too many people to piss off.
I was just like, this is going to be tough for you, dude. Because I was, like, an older kid. So all the people he was, like, I already had my 5 friends or whatever. And then, like, everyone else I was, like, dealing with. And then,
I think it was whenever the laundry room got broken up. I think that's whenever the guy that I'm talking about that was in the punk band got attached to you.
After that snitching sesh?
Like it was like, well, obviously this family is not, like someone else is going to be doing laundry. That's clear enough. I definitely
had him when he was big time Mr. Snitch. Like when everyone hated him.
Well, no, I mean the guy that was in the punk band, the guy that I like.
The guy from New Jersey.
Yeah.
It's funny, we are talking like mobsters, as they were like, the guy with the ears. It's like, no, the guy from Illinois. Like, oh, okay.
Because there was a time when you shadowed him.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Because
Yeah.
I remember someone received like a plush like baseball that said Yankees on it,
Okay.
and you said that it was communally owned by all of the people from the Northeast. Like it was just a special thing for you guys,
Okay.
and like so you'd each get a little time with it,
With the baseball?
but no one else could hang out with the
That's
Yankees
fair.
ball.
I like that. That's a good policy. There were a lot of us there, man.
Yeah.
Would we like throw it to each other?
No.
You just spend time with it?
I don't think it like actually. I just remember like you like the ball had just arrived and you were
Just a proclamation.
pontificating about like how.
Yeah.
I think that then went in someone's trunk and never got out
That's fair,
again.
but we knew. Yeah. That's fair. There was a lot of New Jersey pride going on
Absolutely.
at that school.
Indeed.
Quite an odd group.
Yeah.
There are too many people from New Jersey in one
lot.
spot in Texas.
A lot.
Yeah. And a lot of like, thank God there was nobody from Boston there, dude. Can you imagine?
There was.
What? Who?
I mean, not people you were there for.
Thank God, dude. I'm just thinking of the way people
I love the dude from Boston.
people from
I
Boston.
haven't-
Did he like
we've-
make being from Boston his thing? Are
you asking me that question?
Dude, I fucking hate that shit, dude. God
I've
damn.
heard, see, we've talked about this before, and I think it probably for most people does come down to just the first person you meet that's like that. Like, do you personally find them annoying or not? And this
Yeah.
kid, you know, same deal of like he liked the music that I was into. By that
Okay.
point, I couldn't talk about it,
Well,
but
he
I
had
knew.
to have had he liked Dropkick Murphys, especially, I would think, right?
One would guess.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
And you know, I don't know. We had similar
Yeah.
vibes. So I liked him a ton. I've seen him. My dad ran the Boston Marathon in 2007. I looked that kid up.
Oh,
I went and
shit.
fucking hung out with him for a night. It was a wonderful night.
Okay, respect.
We
Did,
watched a Celtics game.
okay.
You know,
Sorry,
just on
excuse me.
TV. Not going to it or anything.
Did your dad, he didn't run when the fucking Sarnaevs did
He
their
did
thing?
not run during the Sarnaev one.
Thank God, dude.
He's run twice, once before, once after.
Okay. Just wondering.
Yeah.
Yeah. This isn't, dude, how would Dzhokhar Sarnaev have done at Excel? I think it would have helped him. You know what I'm saying? Not the older one, the younger one. If they had gotten him away, you know?
Yeah.
Would it have all been worth it, dude? R.I.P. to the victims, dude. I don't want to make light of that, but I
Yeah.
think Dzhokhar Sarnaev would have been all right.
Worth wondering about if some. See, here's the thing, though. I don't think that the school left most people in a better position.
Yeah, but, well, Dzhokhar was in a bad position, though, because of his older brother. He was a bad influence.
I understand.
So if it got him away from the guy who was like, you should bomb the marathon,
For how long?
long enough to grow a prefrontal cortex so that you don't bomb the marathon.
I don't know, dude. When he gets out, he's still his brother.
Yeah, but he learned about the Serenity Prayer, you know.
Did you not read
12
the
step.
letter from the staff member? He
What?
went on those kids' MySpace pages, and a lot of
that's
them
true.
didn't
That's true,
take
dude.
up the messages.
That is so true, dude. Dzhokhar probably wouldn't have, dude. You're right.
Probably would have left there more angry
Yeah.
and needed to get it out somehow.
Yeah. You're right.
And we condemn the method that he did choose ultimately.
Okay. Not even for the Boston Marathon kids. Excel isn't good. It wouldn't have done it.
But yeah, so
I think if I could have shouted him, maybe.
well,
you
now
know,
that's an interesting
really
question.
helped him out.
I do think that you carry the light of the Lord into other people's lives,
Thank you,
and I
man.
would like to see
What do you-
what chance you would have
What are you
made.
doing, Dzhokhar? Is that how he says his name?
I don't know.
I think that's it. And it was like Jahar, I think was his nickname. Because he had
That's a nickname?
Jahar, like Jahar. But I think it was like spelled DJ, you know, Jahar.
Like I had a friend named Robert. We called him Bob.
Yeah, Jahar, dude. Well, Robert Bob, that's a whole new continent.
Kind of.
There's no R. You know, Jokar, Jahar, Jahar. You know what I mean? Like joke.
I feel like I literally do not know what you mean.
Jahar. was his nickname because there were like he had like groupies.
Your Honor relevance?
I don't know how we got started talking about it. Oh, I was wondering if I was saying his name right because I kept saying Jokar, but I know his nickname was Jahar because it was like free Jahar is what they would say.
What's
There was like,
happening right now?
oh, whatever, dude. This is a general interest podcast. You know,
I agree.
We just happen to have gone to Excel together.
Yeah.
Whatever, dude. Dude, you remember the Boston Marathon? It was a big deal.
I remember very clearly. I
have
can
a
tell you
lot
where
of
I
thoughts about
was
it,
whenever
dude.
he was on the chase.
Yeah, dude. I want to watch that movie so bad, dude. I can't believe I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it.
The Patriots
The
thing.
Wahlberg one?
Yeah.
I'll watch it with you.
I saw like the first 5 minutes, like, but I had to do something. I think it was like, or maybe I imagined it, but it's
maybe
like,
a little matinee of Wahlberg reenacts the major events of the last 15 years with
I would
that
love
and the
that.
Deep Horizon.
and yeah, well, and the one in Afghanistan, dude. I haven't seen that either, dude. I used to consider myself a Wahlberg head, dude.
Lone Survivor?
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you seen that?
No.
Dude, I love Mark Wahlberg.
I also love Mark
I'm a
Wahlberg.
big fan, man. But I guess I've been slacking.
I mean, I would like Lone Survivor looks kind of boring.
The trailer seemed good. I haven't seen Spencer Confidential
Here's the
on
thing.
Netflix.
Well, much respect. Just Sam's music. Our friend Sam's music is in that.
In Spencer
So,
Confidential?
Yeah. So I'm not here to say anything bad about it, but
Dude,
I
I
did hear
wanted
the
to
movie
see it.
sucked.
I'm saying I haven't seen it.
But Lone Survivor I just wouldn't be interested in because like a lot of war movies, like if you say a war movie is boring, people are like, war boring. But like what it must have been like to just kind of like lay in a forest trying not to be seen or whatever he was doing.
Yeah.
I think that probably the overriding emotion for him was boredom. And
I
the
don't know,
point
man.
of the movie is to like accurately convey this. I mean, I don't know that he was bored, but you know what I
thought
mean.
It was about like they let a kid go or something, and then he told on them, dude.
maybe.
And then they come back and kill them all.
But it's just
was
it's
about,
one
like-
person in like a like he's got I mean
Well,
he's
eventually, but at
he
first
is the
there's
lone
like
survivor.
4 guys.
Yeah, well, you
But
know,
then they kill them.
what would be the point of being a lone survivor if you
Right.
started out as one?
Well, that's what I'm saying. But
Yeah,
he
but-
wasn't the one that in the trailer, dude. It
I
was another
believe
guy.
pretty quickly it gets to like him just being up on this perch, like sniping anyone that comes up to him. But how much do you want to like? Would 2 hours of a fucking solo
Yeah, dude, they
sniper
probably do
just?
flashbacks and shit, you know?
I bet it blows.
I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen it, dude, so I don't know.
It sounds
But-
boring.
I would rather see the Deep Horizon movie and the Boston Marathon movie before.
I mean,
Lone
those I'm
Survivor.
in 100%.
Yeah, and Spencer Confidential. And Daddy's Home. I haven't seen that, dude.
I've
not
seen
seen
that.
fucking any
I have
Wahlberg
seen Daddy's
movies in
Home,
so long.
and it's good.
I mean, I'm sure it is, dude. I like Wahlberg.
Surely you've seen Other Guys.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a good movie.
That's an excellent movie.
It's funny as fuck. Yeah,
It's amazing.
Are they going to make a number 2, like a second one?
I hope they do.
I feel like I read that recently.
Yeah?
Could have imagined it, though.
'Cause, I mean, McKay kind of stopped making stuff like that after that. He went on Chapo.
Oh,
and
really?
said that after he made that movie, which he felt
After
was
he made the other
attempting
guys?
to clear, he felt like that was attempting to clearly illustrate, like he thought that was hitting people over the head with like our system is fucked up, it is broken, it cannot continue this way, and everyone reviewed it as like
The movie The Other Guys?
yeah.
Oh, all right.
I mean, the end of the first of all, the main plot point is around it's fraud, but the person attempting where you're there to report the fraud. Whenever they finally get to report it to someone, it's the lawyer for the guy who's committing the fraud.
Right.
And he's just like, there's not a conflict of interest.
Yeah. Definitely.
And then in the end of the movie, like the rolling credits is just statistics about the 2008 financial crisis.
Oh, okay.
And, he's like, I thought that I was driving that point home, and then I read all of the reviews, and it did not feel like maybe I was.
Okay.
So after that, I thought I would just kind of be more direct about it and make The Big Short and Vice.
All right. I watched Vice recently.
It's good.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I think that McKay does good work.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it, it was interesting how he basically was like, yeah, this is normally where we'd say this is based on a true story. Can't really even go that far. This guy is so fucking secretive. We did our best. Enjoy the movie. I thought that was a nice touch.
Yeah.
Because it's like, nobody fucking knows. It's so interesting to think about, dude. Is it like, was there a group of guys who were like, go start the Iraq war, please, so that we can make money? Or was it just everybody kind of sensing how things should go for everyone? You know what I mean?
I mean, the stuff about those maps already existing, like predating the administration.
See, all that I'm not quite
It's in the
familiar
movie.
with. Really?
Yeah. That's where I got it from.
Like the maps of what?
Like that they had Iraq with like American oil companies labeled as like, this is your part, this is your part, this is your part.
Oh. Huh. Did that really happen that way?
You just told me about the disclaimer in the movie. That's the answer.
Oh, so it didn't happen.
That's not true.
Well, in the movie, I don't remember. Okay. The movie, the disclaimer, they were basically like, we
Is that
imagined
map
a
part
lot
of the public
this.
record? I don't know. I don't
That's
think so.
what I'm saying. They were like, we imagined and dramatized so much. We're not saying this is a true story, really. That was what they said at the beginning of the movie, basically. They were like, this is the most secretive guy of all time. So this is as much a work of like fiction and imagination, but loosely based on the historical record. So
But,
it's
you
like,
know, from people who exhaustively researched the historical record, like, it's not like they didn't try.
well, that's what,
Like, they were clear from how they stated it that they tried very hard.
But if there was a room where the American oil companies had a map drawn, they don't let that map get to like people who research for Adam McKay, right? Like, I think. Like, how's that map getting out, dude? There's no council where like oil companies get. Is there? I mean, I don't know. To my knowledge, there is not. Like, that would be a like, I know maybe I'm Pollyanna here, but that would be like a gross violation of every antitrust law of all time. Like, for them to even be in a room.
I mean, certainly
like,
no
talking
one's
like
ever
that.
violated antitrust
Right,
law.
but it's literally like what we talk about with Excel. You have to trust everyone in the room. Like, it just takes one person to like, you know what I mean? So like, I don't think it happens that much because it's like no one trusts each other. Like, the airlines aren't getting together and price fixing. Like, they don't trust each other enough.
I mean, they are.
It's like, are they?
Yeah.
The airlines are getting together and fixing prices? How have I not heard about this?
I mean, like there's a specific merger people point to. I think it's U.S. Airways and American. Does that sound right?
I don't know.
Did American buy U.S. Airways within the last 10 years?
I don't know.
If you look at the price, if you look at the price trends on, you know, various routes.
I'm familiar with the statistics of like mergers tend to like, contrary to what the proponents say, the prices go up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get, but is that just?
But I mean, like
effect?
this one, like that is not that it's this particular one. You know,
Because half the time in a merger,
like, does it matter if there's a meeting?
Yes, dude, definitely. Because if
I got to pay more either way.
Yeah, because if you don't want it to happen, it matters if people are doing it on purpose or if it's just.
Well, if I don't want it to happen,
byproduct.
I don't care about whether or not there was a meeting.
Well,
I just want to create an environment where it's impossible for it to happen.
Well, it sounds like you better figure out how it's happening then. If you want to prevent it from happening, it sounds like you should have a
I don't think
view
it's that
of the causes.
No, I you know, I mean, like,
well,
in this
you can
case,
prohibit the meetings.
I
or
think that
can
you would
set
just
up different
price
incentives.
fix in the opposite direction.
Well, I mean, then no one needs to go to jail or whatever. But if it turns out that they are intentionally subverting the market, then you might want to think a little harder.
I'm not dedicated to putting people in jail.
Okay. I mean, that's really easier. Like, if you don't want...
How could you go through all this and think that it's
I'm not
acceptable
saying,
to put people in cages?
I'm not saying we should put them in jail, but you can take their, like, airline away from them or whatever. That's what I'm saying. This shit matters, dude. If it's just like a tragedy of the commons because people are following their regular economic incentives versus a smaller group of people are getting together to take advantage of other people. It's so totally different things, dude. That's like, you know what I'm saying?
Does it have different effects?
Yeah, it can. I mean, well,
the only thing I care about is the effects. So
if you care seriously about devising a means to prevent the effects from transpiring, I do think in general, I know I'm usually the hippie guy, you know, between us, but I think in general, if you're trying to ameliorate or even prevent effects, yes, it is a good idea to have a grasp of the causal mechanism.
But
one tends to follow the other.
But the airlines example is like clear enough by itself, you know, like just these routes, like you could just come in and say like this is what a ticket from New York to Boston costs.
I guess. But it's like, I mean, who? The government?
Yeah.
I guess. They should just own the airline if that's what you want then.
Done.
I mean, okay, just we have one airline and it's run by who? You?
No, not me. I'm not the head
why
of the
charge anybody?
FAA. Well, I mean, you got to make sure so that the operations.
I don't have to pay for the road. Shouldn't our taxes just anyone who wants an airplane? It's all of our airplane.
You do have to pay for the road.
I mean, I just get on it and drive.
I mean, like, there's several roads in our city where you explicitly charge.
I know, but those are owned by private companies.
I don't think that's true.
No, they definitely are, dude. I mean, I don't want to get into it. They are.
Okay.
I'm just saying, dude. It sounds like it's hard to be like, this is how much a ticket costs, dude. The price of the fuel changes. You know, your competitors change. That's all. If we just have like a national airline system, I'm sure that could work. I'm sure there are countries that have that, right? But it should really be more like the bus then.
Yeah, I mean, you got to fund it either way. I think that making the people who use it pay for it makes sense to me.
Yeah, I know, but it's like the people who use it are a function of the cost of use.
What are you saying?
Like if it were less expensive, the group of people using it would be bigger, so they could pay less.
Yeah, but
it's a virtuous system that will reinforce itself, democratizing itself.
I don't know that our goal is to have more airline flights.
I guess. Okay. So you're saying it's good for the government to own things so that fewer people get to use them?
No.
Okay. Anyway, dude.
I mean, there's multiple problems you have to solve here. How, like, you don't pretend like it's not complicated.
I know, dude. I don't even like conversations like this. That's what I'm saying,
well,
dude.
Why
you can't just come in
to have
and,
them over and over?
Well, dude, I'm just saying when I hear somebody say like, dude, it's as easy as just saying this is how much a plane ticket costs. All I'm saying
it's
is
your stance that there are no
solutions.
So, like, where it's just going to be a repeat process of me being like, well, I think this might be a good solution. And then you know.
I'm just saying it's more
asking
complicated
skeptical
than
questions
just saying
that ultimately get at the idea there are no solutions.
This is the price for someone to just decree a price of a plane ticket is like, I guess like the subway does that. You know, the bus line does that.
You're probably going to have to do some math to figure out a fair price for the ticket. I bet that someone can figure it out, though.
Well, fair, according to whom, dude? And now you're saying it's, that's what I'm saying. And now, dude.
These are just pointless objections, dude.
I'm just
according
saying,
to whom? The fucking person who sets the prices.
It sounds like I, just raised one question, and now it's
It's a dumb question. Who said? Like you're acting like my entire argument's going to fall apart if you point out this pressure point of who's going to set the prices.
No,
the person whose fucking job they're going to set it according to the cost.
What's our policy
dude.
goal? Most people use the plane. Fewest flights possible.
No, just
that's an admirable goal.
Have this fucking thing be able to
Green
continue
New Deal,
to run.
Right? We should say nobody should fly except you should need a license.
That's what I was trying to point out earlier, and then you said that I was being elitist.
You should have to ask the government for permission every time you want to use the plane, I think. It should only be for truly the upper echelons that actually need it. I agree, dude.
I just wanted to talk about the Philly cheesesteak.
Yeah. Let's go on, dude. I'm sorry for raising a question, dude. You're right. It was dumb of me to do that. Go on. Tell me more about what Jamie said and how she was acting.
That's fair, dude. I apologize for becoming irritated about it. But
oh, thank you. Anyway.
What do you want?
I just want to hear about it, dude. I was giving you a hard time there, dude. I did sense some irritation. I accept your apology. I'm trying to get us back on track.
So, Jamie comes in. I don't remember. I mean, Christy must have stayed. What did Christy do after she talked to you?
That is hard for me to remember. I mean, I want to say she was just like, okay. I think we went into the office at that point. I think she then might have been like, now that I'm remembering it more, she might have been like, I need, like, come into the office and I have to call Jamie or something. And maybe that's when he was, like, spilling it more.
Because I seem to remember her and him walking in.
Jamie and the kid? Or Christy and the kid?
I think Christy and the kid.
That could be. That could be.
Because Jamie walks in at a time whenever it's not a normal life skills time.
Right.
Like, normally if she's going to have it, it's right after school. This is literally as dinner is about to be served. So a couple of hours after. It's probably the first time in my time there that she had done life skills at that time.
Yeah, it was a big deal, dude. That's why I'm saying it was like Christy was leaving. We were walking her to her car. So it would have been around 5 o'clock. Because Christy was usually there as long as a life skills would go if it was happening. And
if there wasn't one happening, she would just leave at 5.
Right. She wouldn't stick around for dinner, really. She would go have dinner with her family.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah. So this was like the day is ending. We're shifting into evening mode, basically, which should be a wind down. No more yelling unless a kid is really acting up. You know, he's going to get yelled at by a staff member or something. So it's a huge deal for Jamie to come back in at this point. Yeah. Okay.
But I saw them. Part of the information that I was trying to work through, a big part of it was that I saw him walk in with Christy or Jamie. I think it was Christy.
Okay. So
then she starts, Jamie, I definitely have memories of her throwing food at some point.
Okay.
But made it clear pretty early on that all this food's been prepared. We're not going to eat it. Every single person in this school is getting tuna. We were also to all stay there while a couple of trusted people went and flipped every trunk.
Yeah. Okay. I think I remember this.
That was Dino and a couple people.
Yeah.
And it was the shoebox dorm.
The shoebox dorm.
What did you call it? The quad dorm?
The quad dorm. Yeah.
It was that because that's where they went to, and I think that it was like the drop ceilings there where they kept the orange peels.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember how we would ever get up to the quad dorm alone. Surely we didn't have the balls to just walk from the garbage. But there would be times, maybe it was to distribute clothes.
Yeah, definitely.
Like after we washed everyone's clothes, you would leave them on there.
They weren't interchangeable. Some of the clothes were interchangeable.
Like the jumpsuits.
Yeah, but other ones, like your polo had your name on it by that point. Yeah, that's true. Also, kids sometimes would have to stay behind to clean. Sometimes. I mean, it's not inconceivable that you'd be in the dorm alone.
But yeah, we, would occasionally find ourselves in the dorm alone, and that's whenever they would put orange peels up in the ceiling.
So funny, dude.
But so Jamie walks in, does a classic Jamie technique of, I'm mad about something.
Yeah.
Now it's time for you guys to tell me what I'm mad about.
Right. Yeah. A clear the air, like kind of get it all out is what I kind of would sense those as. And
I'm sure that she's loving the idea of stumbling into a couple freebies.
Well, yeah, no, that's what she's trying to do. Yeah. Because it's like, definitely there's enough going on. There's a lot of negative contracts out there. And she's pissed off enough that it's like an honest signal that some shit's going down. So it's like, she never did that when she had nothing. You know what I mean? Like where there was absolutely, she had no information. And she was just randomly being like, I'm pissed. Heads are going to roll. This is your one chance. Like, it was never a full bluff. So it was like credible where you'd be like, oh shit, dude. Like, who have I been breaking the rules with? Could one of them have ratted me out? Should I now rat out my people? I remember like the first time they did that when I was there, for days, they would come in to life skills and have new life skills because they would just be getting to the confession. Because they like had like 30, 40 confessions to read. And so they would like for a week or two be having life skills and be like, dude, it turned out like, you two kissed behind the fucking lodge? Like, what the fuck? Like, you're in like shit like that over and over again. And then I think everyone kind of was like, all right, next one, I'm not giving up quite so much. Yeah. Because I remember I got one, like, I made some joke speaking of our socialist discourse on here, which, dude, I know we do get heated, and I do fucking hate discussions like that. Like, I owe an apology also to the listener again. So I don't want this to become like the politics hour. Also, I think part of the problem is both of us are very comfortable saying things very cavalierly or believing them, but then like, of course, dude, we're idea guys. So, like, it's very easy to just be like, well, hold on a second. And then it gets frustrating. So, I do know a little bit sometimes. I don't always know when I'm starting to do that, but I usually can sense when it's happening. And sometimes I keep going. But all that was to say, I got brought up for saying that Excel was communist because my reasons were we were constantly on work details where we had to like work for the group, and we wore red shirts a lot, which is like communists like wearing red. Mm-hmm. That was it, dude. I wasn't trying to be like, and so I hate it. You know, I wasn't like, I guess W was running. I was probably pretty strongly pro W at that time, but like, yeah, I think I've like alluded to this, but dude, Jamie and Sally were huge Al Gore people at the time.
It's so weird. Hard to conceive of because I think I had started to tell this and didn't end up telling it. We were watching the 2004 ALCS and George W. Bush commercial came on, and I did not like George W. Bush at this time. I didn't have an opinion in the first race. I didn't know, any, and I mean, it's not like I had a keen understanding of politics by the time 2004 rolled around, but I had more of an idea that I didn't like him.
Yeah.
I mean, I certainly didn't like that we were at war. I think wars are wrong.
Sure.
So I booed, and Christy was next to me.
Yeah.
It was like, that's the president. You need to show some goddamn respect.
I like that. Thank you, Christy. Shout out,
whatever,
Christy.
Dude, fuck him.
Yeah, they were.
War criminals don't deserve no respect, Alex.
Sure. No, I mean, sure. Although it's funny, dude. I wonder. I'm not like. I don't know if W like was in this room right now. Would you like throw your cranberry juice on him, or would you be like, "Hello"? I think I would just be like, "Hey, man, what's up?" I mean, "Hello, Mr. President." Like, I had a friend who was like ultra hates W, and he went to grad school at SMU, and then like his first semester, for whatever reason, maybe the library was opening, I don't know, but it's like he had to meet W, dude, and it's like he folded like a fucking whatever that metaphor is.
Yeah, no, like, I think that my great preference is to not find out.
Yeah, you would rather that he's your run the jewels.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of feel the same way about Jamie. Like, you were asking me on a previous podcast about, like, so what would you do if you... And I would love, like, I would love to think that I would do the perfect thing that I would feel awesome about afterwards.
Yeah.
But I don't know what that is. Yeah. And I hope that I would find it in my heart if the moment rose, but, like, that's scary.
So do you think she should go to jail? For, you know what I mean?
No.
If it were up to me,
like
I don't think I'd put her in jail.
Yeah, the jail question for anything is always, it's two questions. It's judging by the standards of other things that you've seen other people go to jail for, do you think that this meets that standard? In this case, I would say there are certainly people in jail who have done less to harm the lives of others than Jamie Reisner.
Right.
So under that one, it's one answer. But under the answer of, in my ideal world, like, what is my standard for who should and should not be locked up? And in my ideal world, the standard is, like, serial killers.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. Do you think, like, child molesters, serial killers? I guess maybe you don't think they
child molesters, I'd have to think about it,
Yeah? Okay.
I mean, can we find, like, a less... Like, just... You clearly can't have them around kids. Non-negotiable.
All right.
But, like, is there something other than jail you think we could do?
Yeah, I mean, they have those colonies where they live together. Those don't seem ideal, I guess. They probably prefer it to jail. You know. I don't know. It's a tough one. It's a tough one.
It is.
I mean, because then you also have the ones that won't stay away from the kids, dude. What do you do then?
Yeah, you're right.
I'm thinking jail.
Probably got to go jail. Probably got to go jail there.
But would I put Jamie in jail, dude? This now? Come on. Why? Dude, she'd love jail, first of all. Don't you? I think I could see her running a block, dude.
Yeah, but I mean,
Or just getting her ass beat all the time.
The fact that she wasn't the ultimate authority would be the most difficult circumstance she'd ever faced.
Yeah, it would be challenging for her.
She would love to be a jail warden.
Oh, my God. Yeah, definitely.
How has she not pursued that yet?
I know, dude.
Come on.
Yeah. Well, you probably need to, like, graduate high school. Like, I'm not trying to be a jerk. It's like, you probably
If I were her, I would think it was worth going back.
Yeah. They might even let you kill people, Jamie.
Huntsville is right there, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, so every time I've told this story up to this point in my life, it has always been with an eye towards making sure the audience understood that I did make the right decision.
Okay.
I would like to drop that here and just present what happened and you know, leave it up to, you know, because I felt misunderstood in the time, but like, I don't know, maybe I should have felt misunderstood. Maybe I did the wrong thing and whatever.
Okay.
So
is this the same night, the cheesesteak night?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Jamie walks in with the snitch and Christy in tow.
Okay.
And says, I know what's been going on. You guys need to tell me about it.
Okay.
So I stood up and told her about it.
Whoa. Yeah. I mean, knowing what I know, yeah, I'm not the moral judge, but in terms of smart move, yeah. Dude, he gave up everybody and everything.
And I feel like I knew that.
Yeah.
When I saw him walk in with her,
yeah,
I deduced everything that did turn out to be true.
Yeah.
But certainly to people outside of the group who didn't know his involvement and everything that had been going on and everything like that.
Yeah.
Whenever they heard someone talking about what had happened wrong, it was me talking.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
And to the people in the group, I think a lot of them didn't put it together.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, dude. I'm not trying to brag here, but like I think that one of them might have stood up earlier if they had put it together as quickly as I put it together. What had just happened?
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Yeah, I do know.
And so I like a necessary part of me being in the position I was in is that I had figured this out when others hadn't figured it out.
Yeah.
What had happened.
Yeah.
That he had come and told you.
Yeah.
And I think that some of them never did.
Yeah, so they think, Jamie, you gave it all up. They think you were the first one? You think? They're probably not. I mean,
they didn't take a lot of time to break down why they weren't talking to me and treating me coldly, but, you know.
Well, first of all, I got to say, now that I know that, I never really fucked with that iteration of the laundry guys. I'm just going to say it, dude. Like, I never thought they were that cool. I have a begrudging respect to the kitchen guys. Like, they weren't my boys. You know, like, we got along. One day, I would like to talk about my experiences with the kitchen boys. I love them, you know, in their own. I think we got along. But I'm saying, like, those laundry guys, some of them were pretty dumb. I'm not trying to be a dick, but losing their respect is not the worst group of people. But I get it. They're your friends. You just had, like, maybe the guy who talks.
Yeah, I don't agree. I don't disagree with anything you're saying.
But I'm just saying. And
no, it wasn't like these are my favorite people, but it's like these are the ones I have.
Yeah. No, I do know what you mean. I do.
Like, you know, you don't pick your family, like, but if like in its own dumb way, it felt like family. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
Like, it was called a family.
Well, yeah, and it was your first time to be part of a group that was not fully just enforcing the school on you.
Yeah.
You know, so you lost kind of a refuge.
Yeah.
In a way. So that sucks, man. Yeah. It reminds me of the Amanda Knox documentary. How they like.
How so?
Well, it's like, because, you know, Amanda Knox.
Oh, that her and Solicito aren't together?
Is that her boyfriend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it's like, because they tortured them.
That fucking
And he
sucks.
gave her up, dude. And it's like, not that you lied about anybody or whatever, but I remember they asked her, and he was like, she said he was sorry, dude. I know they tortured him, but I can't fuck with it. Like they broke that between us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it kind of is like Excel does that to your friendships in some, like sometimes, some ways.
No, I mean, like as I alluded to before, whenever they put me and Daniel on 10 foot, like we're friends now, but like we did not.
Yeah, dude.
There was not another like shared memory between us, and the rest of the time we were there.
And thinking more on that, especially with Daniel, like that, I could see how you would come.
It's really fucking bad for me, dude.
Well, he doesn't like to be like disrupted. You know, when he's grooving, and that's like a disruptive place. Yeah. It's stressful for a lot of people, but me too. And so I definitely could see how he would get really annoyed just as soon as he gets to sit down and relax, at this shitty place where you don't get to do it that much. And then it's like, oh, this guy's here. Now I can't do that. I better go do something. He's going to resent you, and you're going to feel that. Yeah. And you could sit and intellectually be like, it's a system and it's, it's not like that. But it's like, it feels.
And, if we'd gotten to talk it out, I think that we could have been fine. But we didn't get to talk it out, like by definition.
Yeah. And even you might not have been fine right then. I mean, now you get along fine. Like,
of course.
Famously, I would say.
Yeah.
But it's like, Daniel might have been a dick to you then because he was like, dude, I mean, it's just hard, dude, when you're set up almost to not like each other. You're like set up to, because you liked each other, they set you up to grow to hate each other. It's messed up, dude. It's really fucked up when you think about it. It's like, these guys are forming authentic, spontaneous bonds. Can we do the opposite, please?
Yeah.
That's really, when you think about it,
I think
it's so fucked up.
I think it's one of the cruelest things that they did to me there.
Yeah, like, it really is, dude.
The only relief I was getting, they found that relief to be threatening and took it away.
Yeah.
Like they were actively making sure that it was a situation where I could not have relief from the danger they were presenting to me.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
Yeah. It is fucked up. It's fucked up. Yeah. I'm glad that you and Daniel are friends now.
Me too.
It really makes me happy.
Yeah, no, I mean, you know your responsibility in that. The first time I saw him out, it was your fucking front door.
Yeah, every time you put it like that, I'm like, is that true? But I know it is.
It is true.
No, I know, like, once I think about it, but it does seem weird. It seems like...
That's a great day.
Know. Yeah. And it really only has been like a year.
That's true.
A little more. But COVID year, a lot goes down.
An odd year.
Yeah. It's been quite a year, man. I'm ready, dude. I need the vax so bad.
You can get it. I'm
signed up or something.
Yeah.
I don't really understand it, but my wife told me we're both signed up now, registered. No, I don't.
No, you can be registered.
It's like some list.
I don't think that's going to do
That's what I told her. I was like,
right now.
What you need is a text message from somebody's cousin who works at the site. Like, you know what I mean?
It's not necessarily like that, but you're going to have to work a little harder than just putting yourselves on the Dallas County list.
Definitely.
That's a long list.
Everyone I know has gotten a text message from somebody being like, yo, they got fucking 40 extras in Granbury or whatever.
I have.
You know what I mean? I know. I've gotten those texts from you.
Yeah.
But I've never jumped on them enough. It's hard for me, especially like, I don't like spontaneously, like I said, getting in the car.
Yeah, it hasn't been. I mean, I guess some of those are like right now, but I mean, just finding out the city of Burleson got a big shipment that they're going to be parceling out over the next couple days. Like that was I got to pick like a time tomorrow. It wasn't
that's pretty tight.
Like drop everything.
Are they still like restricting it?
So the thing that they announced that I texted you today is the March 29th. They're dropping.
All restrictions drop.
Yeah, so 5 days from now, any adult.
Okay.
Like
God,
it's still.
If I got COVID
kids
now,
can't.
I would be so pissed.
Yeah, no, and you can't. I mean, like I'm in between first and second, and I just keep on thinking about how bad that would fucking blow.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that would suck. I got in the car with you. We went to Chick-fil-A, man.
Yeah.
Now I could get COVID.
It's true.
Do you think that was the girl? Do you think she was looking at us for not wearing masks? She's like,
I didn't realize she was looking at us.
I felt like I noticed a little bit, like, what the,
I never know because I'm confident that in a drive-through situation,
yeah,
I'm not presenting a serious danger to them.
Really, I mask up every time at that Chick-fil-A.
Okay, you do?
Yeah.
Well, if he said so, I would happily put mine on
Well,
to order.
that's why at first I was like, no, it's TC sunglasses. That's what
Maybe it was.
Yeah, I was like,
a lot
I'm
of
not
people
sure.
can't handle them, you know?
Yeah, I was like, maybe she's just not used to those.
Unapologetic lifestyle.
I wasn't talking to him, dude. I didn't make any comments, dude. But I was like, it's either I'm not wearing a mask or you weren't masking either.
No.
Okay, yeah.
Just being, it's a situation where I do, like I said, I do feel tension, turmoil, because I don't want to put anyone else ill at ease. I think that's a lot of the point
put it on.
of wearing a mask
yeah.
but the risk is so incredibly small. And like, you got to understand that on some level. Like, one fucking breath of me on you is not going to end your fucking world.
Yeah, no, I agree, dude. I mean, I didn't put the mask on and I didn't do it.
Yeah.
But when I drive up there, I do think that they will be, especially, the fucking girl in the Chick-fil-A line just being like, let me get your order. I'm some fucking asshole without a mask, just being like, hey, and it's like they're out in the mix too, I don't know. Like at Popeyes, I probably wouldn't.
If I felt like it was a situation where I could be confident about their feelings about it, then I would just if I knew that they cared, I would put it on 100% of the time. I'm kind of doubtful that they do.
I wonder. Yeah, I think it's the fact that they're not at Raising Cane's. I don't care. It's something to do with the fact that at this Chick-fil-A, these are the rovers. Like they're not protected by the booth.
They do deploy rovers at my Cane's, just so you know.
You got rovers at the Cane's, dude.
It's a brand new one.
Damn,
so that might be something they're rolling
Cane's
out.
Needs to step it the fuck up, dude.
Yeah.
It's fast as fuck, though.
Cane's in general, because, I mean, there's no fucking burgers.
Yeah.
It's the genius of the plan.
Do you like Cane's more than Chick-fil-A?
It just depends on the day. But I would say if I had to pick one, I probably would pick Cane's. I probably would.
Damn, dude. I think I'm strong Chick-fil-A.
I mean, I really like that sauce.
The sauce is good. The Texas toast is good, but I find myself enjoying it less these days.
It's the most high maintenance order I have.
At Cane's?
I get the sandwich, but I say, take that regular bread, toss that shit out.
Make it with Texas toast?
Make it with the toast.
Jesus Christ,
They'll do it.
I'm sure they will.
They got like a code for it. Like after I kind of like the first time was like,
make it toasty.
Do you think maybe?
What's the code, dude?
And then like the lady's like, sandwich on toast. I mean, it's not like fucking super complicated, but they knew what she said it like as
a shorthand.
Yeah.
She didn't have to be like, up. This guy wants it.
So take the regular
toast. Yeah, she did nothing like that.
No. Sandwich on toast.
Damn, dude. Because I will get chicken the fucking, they call them chicken fingers there?
Yeah, tenders,
I never know.
whatever.
Chicken strips, tenders, whatever. And then I get extra toast, and I kind of make my own sandwich.
Yeah, that's good.
But instead, now I'm realizing. You can
I just feel like that was, short. I mean, I guess saying like throw an extra piece of toast, but I don't know. I like that it comes with the sandwich already made.
No, it's nice. Plus, if you want the lettuce.
I don't want the lettuce.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no, I feel bad because because they do have such an efficient operation.
Yeah.
That's the only time that they're having to do something that's out of deviation from their normal.
Well, I hit them with the Arnold Palmer, dude.
I think that they offer that as like a regular.
Do they? Okay.
I think.
Okay.
I don't know. I could be wrong.
It's not like on the menu.
Okay.
Like, I think you're going to... Because I definitely remember I felt like a jerk.
I'm thinking of the Chick-fil-A app. The Chick-fil-A app, you can order...
On the app, you can hit them?
Yeah.
That's tight, dude. I felt like an asshole because I was like, I don't think they know what Arnold Palmer is. So instead, I was like, okay, can I get a lemonade, but just like half lemonade? And then could you put tea... and the guy's like, guy wants, like, your thing. Like, he wants a fucking Arnold Palmer. I'm like, oh, shit, okay. Yeah. But even then, you got to specify sweet or unsweet.
Yeah.
Which do you want in your AP?
Yeah.
I had them with the unsweet.
Really?
I think the lemonade's doing enough.
I don't like tea at all.
You like an AP?
No.
Damn.
Because it has a tea taste.
I love them, dude. I taught a kid at Excel. When we had tea and lemonade at the same time, I remember teaching a specific kid. We've talked about him on the podcast. He's really good at chess. And I think he had a tough time after Excel. But I remember teaching him about Arnold Palmer and like It's a hard phrase to say, Arnold Palmer. I remember being like, the tea is the base. Like, it's kind of the base of the drink, and the lemonade kind of flavors it. And then he was very funny. Every time he would make one, he would be like, let's turn up the base. And then he would pour in the tea. It's a classic Excel bit, Anyway.
I do. All right. Yeah, I mean, we're, around 2 hours.
For real? Shit, dude.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I have down that we started talking about that didn't finish was the restraints. I could talk about the kitchen more, but both of those
I feel like we didn't talk about cheesesteak night enough. Like, what the fuck happened? So
they threw out all the food. I think that Jamie threw a cheesesteak on the ground. Evernight tuna. We had to sit in there while they fucking tossed the dorm. During that time, I think that they brought in papers and were like, everyone write down everything wrong that they've done. Yeah, they definitely made me write out every part of what had transpired that I just talked about here.
Yeah.
And I don't know, dude, it's hard to capture it. Like, it's one of those things where even whenever they were saying it then, it's like, you don't get it. We were doing more than that.
Yeah.
Like, to reduce it down to they were trying to make drugs just totally misses the scene.
Yeah.
Like, we were creating a space.
The counterculture.
Yeah. Like, it's so much bigger than, and more dangerous than they understood. And they understood it as fairly dangerous. Yeah.
No, I think that's right. That's what it comes down to. It's a threat to the control. It's an independent realm of existence.
Yeah. I mean, it was the first time that I was thinking that what they were doing, like I said, that it would not only was something I didn't like, but that something that outside moral authorities would regard as wrong.
Yeah, they didn't like that.
They tended not to.
It was a big problem. Yeah.
And there you were, just making sure that you could do everything you could to help them out with that goal.
Well, dude, I wasn't going to go down
You know how I actually feel about that.
Yeah, no, I definitely do. But, like, that doesn't really bother me that much because it's like, I keep not saying this kid's name, but if I did, all I would have to do is say it. But, you know what I mean? This kid comes up to you and is like, I have to tell you about these kids. Yeah. They're trying to smoke the orange peels or whatever. It's like, there's no faster decision than to be like, let me get this one off my plate. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to wrestle with this one, dude.
No.
Like, there, tell her. She's like in eyesight.
And like, of all the things that you probably should be chill about, if you're running a drug rehab, you really can't let people try and experiment on making their own drugs.
No, dude. That'll really fuck shit up, dude.
I know.
Parents will take their kids out.
And
that's where you're in big trouble.
The specific thing they were trying, it was fine, but like, you can go blind off drinking the wrong shit.
Yeah, definitely.
Like,
dude. And those are the kids dumb enough to do it. For sure, dude. They had no business trying to make drugs, dude.
Yeah.
If it had been Daniel, I would be like, yeah, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, no, I've had stuff he came up with. Thumbs up.
Yeah, no, exactly, dude.
Skilled shaman.
But it's like, who knows what those motherfuckers? Yeah, not exactly. Probably the smartest kid there, besides you, was the snitch. Like in terms of if you gave IQ tests to the laundry room.
Oh, in the laundry room?
Yeah.
No, I would say that the dude from New Jersey was sharp as fuck. That guy was super smart.
Yeah, okay. I don't know. Snitch kid pretty bright, though. Not that snitching was the bright move there, but...
There's a lot of different kinds of intelligence, and I would say he was clearly lacking enough of them that I had a tough time respecting his intellect.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not...
I know what you're saying.
Genius. I wonder what he's doing now. I hope he found his way, dude.
Yeah, I hope he found his way. I don't plan on being friends. Dude, that's just such a fundamental. Like, it's not even that it happened to me. Like, if anything, it just like, if anything, the three other times that it happened loom larger than the one that I happen to be involved in.
Yeah.
Like, you have to have basic trust between people. He seems like someone who serially abuses it whenever it suits his needs. Like, I don't know exactly how that manifests itself in the real world. Whenever, like, I don't think that he would, like, go to the cops to tell, like, of drug deals that had happened or whatever. But there is going to be some, like, he clearly does not have an understanding of trust that is one that I can operate with. And that is going to manifest itself in some ways at some times.
Yeah, I mean,
And
probably.
I don't want to figure out when those are.
He probably learned pretty early on, one way or another, that, like, to be trusting in someone is a good way to get hurt. And so if you're in a trusting situation, it's a matter of when is someone going to, like, hurt the others. And so it might as well be you.
Yeah, no,
you know what I mean?
Sure, but can't live with it.
Like, I'm not advocating for you to bring him back into your life or whatever.
Yeah.
I agree. You have to trust somebody to act the way that they are.
I think it's a worthwhile exercise for you to lay out the ways in which that this is somewhat sympathetic behavior.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
To the airline price fixing, dude. You got to know why someone does something. It helps you more intelligently move through the world. Like, if you can, because it helps you predict people better. I really do believe that. So it's like, if you know a guy is always going to snitch, I'm not saying this dude, but like, a guy will snitch on you at every moment because he believes in his heart that if he doesn't, if he goes to bed without snitching, he'll wake up being snitched on, then just he can't be in the conspiracy to commit crimes. Like, I agree with you. Like,
I agree with that. I think that if you think that having a keen understanding of the social dynamics and whenever this individual is involved reveals to you greater knowledge about how fucking airline price fixing works, then, you know, you've made a mistake.
I guess, dude. I don't know. I mean,
there's a lot of differences. So many differences that I don't think.
No, I think that guy's like
knowledge of one
a
will give you knowledge of others.
I think without drugs, he's basically a Pete Buttigieg, dude. I really.
Oh yeah, I agree with that.
He would like do a report for McKinsey, like fully outlining like what are the price fixing laws, how close can we get to them. Like, he would do all of that. That's
100%. 100%.
Yeah, so they're the same thing, dude. It helps. It's like safety by selling out your other people in favor of the smaller group that you've perceived to be the more powerful and thus more important.
Yeah, you're talking about like how he would fit into the dynamics. Like,
he would be a great price fixer.
He would.
And then he would snitch on everybody.
But if you set up a system in which price fixing was, like if you took the prices, like setting the prices out of his hands, then like I think that you've effectively solved the problem.
Yeah, but not to get it into another debate, dude, but if you make an office that sets the prices, it's guys like that are going to try to be in the office. And that's where I get nervous, dude.
Yeah.
Yes, take it out of the price fixer's hands, but it's going somewhere hands, and those same people are like, wait, where'd it go? Can I be in charge of all of it? Let me be in charge of it. It's like...
I mean, then I guess I'm just going to have to go with your natural conclusion that nothing should have prices.
I agree, dude. It should be the invisible hand.
I don't think that's what that means.
I'm pretty sure, dude. Like I said, I
don't
strongly
think that the point of the invisible hand was that there are no prices.
I think that's how it sets it. The market sets the price.
Yeah.
The invisible hand.
Yeah, but that's bullshit.
The price. Yeah.
Because you got these people.
Yeah.
It's saying don't regulate those people. Don't worry, it'll work itself out. Don't even really pay attention.
So you're saying we need...
And if all of my friends happen to make millions and millions off of this, it's more of a coincidence. I wouldn't trouble yourself with it.
Yeah, I like that.
I don't like that.
I know. It just seems to me that, it's just another power grab from people who do better through bureaucracy than market competition. Like, they just want to press the advantage that they have. It seems to me. Like, it's always the fucking student government people that are like, we need more. I mean, I don't blame them. You press your advantage. But it seems to me that that's what it is.
Yeah, you just, in these situations where you have two choices, you just sit around and be like, you're going to pick that one?
Yeah.
And then I tell you I'm going to pick the other one. You going to pick that one?
The invisible hand, dude, will pick for you. I'm just kidding, dude. I mean, again, I'd wait. No, I didn't even vote last time.
Congratulations.
Strong. I voted plenty of times, though.
but this one just seemed like,
No,
Sit
I
down.
mean, I think we scrapped where I got way too into it, but I'm just fucking around. There are really usually two choices. I think that's my big thing. So sometimes discussions frame it as if there are. You can easily just be like, "What about?" And then it
The
seems
way you
like,
frame it is constantly a battle between capitalists and bureaucrats.
yeah. I feel like that's in my soul is the battle that I'm always looking for. I
And
agree with
so,
that.
whenever I'm like,
Barbarians to bureaucrats, dude.
some of these, bureaucrats might have points. You're like, "Oh, they don't have points."
It's not. I don't have the soul of a bureaucrat.
But then, the capitalists quite clearly don't have points.
I think. Well, some of them have points, dude.
I mean, is what you're doing a full-throated defense of capitalism? Like any of the,
No,
like,
dude, I'm staunch anti-capitalist, dude. I think capital is
Okay.
a demonic artificial intelligence that is
So if
doing
you ask
battle with the
me
human spirit. I fully believe that.
any question,
It's evil and anti-life.
and then I pick any answer, regardless of what are the choices made along that point,
I hate bureaucrats
then
so
start
much, dude.
explaining to me why I've made a bad choice.
Well, you love bureaucrats, man. I don't understand how you can go to Excel and be like, what we need is more rules.
But what about that dynamic? Do you think looks enjoyable?
What dynamic?
Where you introduce a thing of we've got you agree that all of life is much of one thing that looms large is a battle between capitalists and bureaucrats.
No, that's your framing, and I went along with it maybe a little too readily. Bureaucrats, sure.
I mean, I think if you roll the tape back, you go along with it pretty enthusiastically.
Yeah. But I corrected it to barbarians versus bureaucrats,
Okay.
dude. Because I'm anti-capital, dude. But I think in many ways, bureaucracy is on the side of capital. And everyone's pretending that it's not. But it's
No,
bureaucracy
it quite
is
clearly
capital's
is, but
handmaiden.
it's not just that we should give the government more power. We should give the government more power, and we should have it controlled by people who have correct ideas.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wild to me. I know you believe that as you sit here. You really think that you and your ilk or your friends or whoever.
I don't think I need to be involved.
So you have people with correct ideas that you don't share that should be in charge?
No, I do share the ideas. Just whatever you suppose it is like what I want is for all of me and my friends to be in charge. I don't care if I'm in charge, dude.
Yeah, as long as it's people who believe what you believe.
I'm not aiming to be president.
Yeah, I know that. Okay. I don't think that you want to be president.
Thank you.
That's way too much work. Like, I mean, do you really think you would want to be? You would be president the way Trump would be.
No, I don't want to be president.
You
but
had a lot of executive time.
Hey,
that's how I do it too.
You
Trust
grant
me.
one part of it, then yeah, you're right about that because you're too lazy.
Well, I do think both of us are too lazy.
Yeah, of course, dude.
Yeah,
you're right. I'm too lazy, but why do we got to highlight that as the first thing?
Well, it's just it's the first thing that came to mind when I agreed with you. Anyway, it just seems weird to me. I think the tension is anytime people are convinced that they haven't figured out that they can do what's best for everybody, I'm like, well, they're lying to either us or themselves, and I'm not sure which is scarier. Versus people who are saying hey, I'm looking out for myself. Here's why. I'm like, you are also an enemy.
Are there a lot of governments that run on not making choices?
No, I mean, I get all existence is choices.
But you're saying anyone who's confident about the choices they're making is inherently wrong.
It's scary when people are confident that they are equipped to make choices about what's best for everybody.
Well, fucking someone has to, Alex.
I mean, I guess so. But it's a choice we all make about who and how. And I'm saying these unaccountable, unelected bureaucrats that I don't even know. I mean, dude, I went to Excel in large part because of the fucking liberal nanny state and the power it gave to school administrators in the Princeton, New Jersey school system. They had the ability to make me go to places like Excel and worse. So I don't fuck with them, dude.
Over your parents' consent?
I mean, they had the ability to greatly influence it, yeah. They definitely had the ability to be like, he can't come back to school. unless he goes and hangs out with adults who do hard drugs all the time,
That's not the same
aka
thing.
12-step meetings. Yeah, it is the same thing, dude. That's what
Saying
I'm
he
saying.
can't go to school here and saying that that he has to go to Excel, there's a large gulf
No,
between
I'm
those.
not talking about Excel, dude. I'm talking about like the first of like 5 places that I went to. Like, but my point is they had the right to tell me I had to go to a religious meeting and pretend to believe in a higher power so that I could go get an education as a 14-year-old.
Yeah, I don't know. I
And
understand what you're saying. I don't want to be disrespectful to your
told me
experience.
that
Like,
was what was best for me. Then they sent me.
do you think that I think that those are the correct stances?
Of course not. And
Well, then
that's
whenever
what I'm
I say
saying.
what I would like is for the people who I think have the correct stances to hold power and for that power to be greater.
No stance that doesn't have an inherent reflexive
Why
mechanism.
why would me saying that like create a problem for you if we both agree that we're not empowering the kinds of people that you're talking about not wanting to be in power?
Because I have a greater skepticism of power in general. You seem to think it just needs to be, we have to identify the people who should have it, and that's it. My point is, everyone does have it in one way or another.
Your powerless society just seems unlikely to occur to me.
I also
less likely to
I don't
occur
know
than what I'm
you're talking
about.
Like, I don't know
but
who's
I mean,
advocating for a powerless society in this conversation.
Well, if you're not, you're saying like, well,
happy-
power is bad. Okay.
No, I'm saying, you have, I'm not saying it's necessarily bad. You have to have it. We couldn't have gone to
agree.
Chick-fil-A without it, dude. We made a choice
Yes.
to either eat or not eat. Chickens died because of our choice. We created demand for death. It's fine. You see what I'm saying? I made that choice, and chickens suffered as a result of it. I have to struggle with that. I do think the vegans are probably right, but I'm doing my best. I'm a human. My point is, I'm not reflexively anti-power, but you have to be aware that when you have it, people and living things do get hurt. And so, again,
you don't seriously think that I'm not aware of that?
I seriously think that I've tried to say the thing I've tried to say 4 times, and something in you compels you to stop me from saying it.
Go ahead.
So I'm like wondering if there is a reflexive, like, if you don't want to hear it.
No, dude,
Because
it's making an implication about me that like I've got to defend myself at some
It's
point.
not you, dude. My point is, anyone who has power over another person, that power changes you, the person holding the power. It changes your brain. It makes you less empathetic. It makes you more sure of yourself, even like when you have it. So when I hear anyone say like, all we have to do is find the people with the right ideas and give them power, no, dude. You have to have it built in that they have to be self-critical every day. And they have to question themselves every single day. You really do. It's like, it's not a mystery if you look at any religion.
I mean, like, I think what you're saying, what
it
it boils down to is like in a system like that, you really have to have good leaders. And like, I agree.
But I mean, I guess. But I'm saying the good leaders, the only guy I can think of that like comes close is the guy in Bolivia who's like, don't even give me a White House, dude. I'll be in my apartment. Like, stop with all this. Stop treating me like a president. Like, I don't see anybody in any bureaucracy, and I've seen a lot of them, who like approaches power with that kind of humility. So whenever someone's like, we need more of it, I'm just like, great. Let's give more power to people who really have no clue how it works. And I'm not saying you do, because you went to Excel, so you've seen how it changes people, I think. And maybe I've seen it change Jamie more, and you just saw like bad Jamie. But I definitely saw her go from like a more compassionate person to a less compassionate one. And it had to do with the amount of power she accrued. That's all, dude. I just think we should be very skeptical about any time we're letting somebody decide how someone else's life goes.
You don't think that she might be kind of different than a lot of people you met?
I mean, I fucking hope so, dude. But part of it was she had more power than anyone I ever met over like more people, like directly like that. I mean, obviously I've met the CEO of a company that employs more people than went to Excel or whatever, but you know what I mean. The ability to make someone like eat their own vomit. Yeah. I have not met many people who knew that they could make someone eat their own vomit in front of like a group of their peers.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
But I think that Jamie's a pretty exceptional person. I don't think that you should like look at that example and say like, I don't know, dude. And the frustrating thing is that you never have any proscriptions. You just have criticisms.
Well, dude, I just don't trust anybody who seeks power, really. Like, it's just weird to me.
Okay, what are we going to do about it?
I don't know, dude. I look out for the people that I care about while trying to draw the circle of people I care about bigger, as big as I can. That's really what I try to do about it, dude. I try to be an example of how to live my life. I'm not even good at that, dude. So like, I'm definitely not like, I should go decide fucking how my city gets zoned or anything like that. But I get that means like maybe someone else is.
Yeah, of course they are.
All right. So I should fucking question them.
Yeah, no, they're making terrible choices.
All right. So
but at some point,
let me fucking raise my dissent, dude.
But no,
can I speak truth to power? Please.
All you want to do is question. Like you're not going to stop them by just being like, well, have you thought about this? You have to stop them by proposing an alternate plan.
Dude, this is awesome, dude. I do love this, dude. I feel like I'm a leftist being lectured by Hillary Clinton right now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what are your demands? Like, it's like my demands are that my leaders stop sucking, dude, and figure out better stuff. I'm not the guy out here like campaigning, like for my policies. But I'm waiting to be wowed, dude.
My great preference would be that this stuff like never comes up and that we don't talk about it at all ever.
On the podcast or in general.
I was talking about the podcast, but like
I know I kind of forgot we were still recording.
Yeah, I'm fine in general. Like I don't know, it's not an enjoyable exercise.
I get it, dude. See, I get it, dude. This is the story of my life, man. Everywhere I go, I say what I think.
Come on!
I know, I do get it, dude. I say what I think and people get uncomfortable. It's my cross to bear, man. I can't get along with anybody.
I think we get along fine.
I mean, I think we do. Better than most. And maybe that's what it is. I feel more free around you. I did forget we were recording. But maybe that's what it is, because most people, I would just let it go. But with you, I'm like, no, we can have these conversations. And then an hour later, I'm like, we really can't. We shouldn't. That was foolish of me to bring up. I should have let the airline comment go. You know? Trust me, dude. I've been there. If we weren't talking about it right now, I would think about it tonight. But
you think we've freed you from that?
Maybe. I'll think about it, at least a different iteration of it, I think. But yeah, dude. I get it, dude. It's okay. It's all right, dude.
I don't agree with your assessment now.
Why I'm an artist, because I have to find ways to reach the normal people like you, you know, who aren't ready for the raw ideas.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Anyway, dude. Yeah, that's true, dude. I don't have a lot of solutions. I just like have never met a politician that I trust. They're grubby, you know, power-hungry people for the most part. And I'm sure everyone that you know. True. Certainly any listening to this podcast, I don't mean you. Like, obviously.
No, I mean, most I really of them don't. Suck.
I have not met many of these. You don't
think that I have any other opinion?
Well, I know you're like friends with people that are involved in Dallas politics.
Yeah, but
and
like,
you have helped me like realize it's a little more nuanced at the local level, it seems.
But you know, the like of the ones I can think, like, you know, your former coworkers, I think all of them suck.
All of my former coworkers who are politicians? What about Raphael? Are you coming? I would say I don't
have a strong opinion about him either way. I have some questions.
Really? I would think like, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, I would see again.
I was more thinking about Villalba. I hate Villalba.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I went with that makes sense. If I were you and really wanted to rile me up, I would press me on what I think about Raphael. Because all I've ever known, like I've met him a few times.
Just for, in case there's a single listener that gives a shit, Jason Villalba used to be a state rep, like a member of the Texas legislature, and Rafael Anchia is currently a member of the Texas state legislature.
And one's a Republican, one's a Democrat.
Both of them have previously worked at a law firm that Alex also worked at.
Yeah. And if you press me on whether Anchia is everything I just said, like a grubby, power-hungry monster, I would immediately walk it all back, dude. He's a nice guy. Like, I mean, yeah, I'm immediately already like in this imaginary pressing. I'm like, no, I mean, Probably, he likes talking in front of groups of people, obviously. He's a politician. But I don't.
You kind of like talking in front of groups of people. I like talking in front of groups of people.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm like.
Doesn't seem like an inherently damning thing to me.
Exactly. Like, well, that was a nicer way of saying, like, maybe he wants the spotlight more than a normal person. But again, we're podcasting.
Yeah.
So
I don't count that against people.
Like, I think it may be another one of those instances where I just say shit because I feel it in the moment. But, like, the way to press you is on, like, details of how something works, maybe. The way to press me is just on my own personal experiences with someone I've met. Because then I try to give them a break.
I think that you interpret it as a win whenever I get frustrated by the detailed questions. And, like, I don't know. Certainly there are detailed questions I can't answer. But a lot of times it's just like, I feel like this is evident enough and that you're not that interested in the answers.
I'm not, dude. That's why I was saying you shouldn't even call it win. It's not about win. I just like to fucking stir it.
But whenever I, like, cease to answer, it's not like a...
Dude, that frustrates me because I'm like, what the fuck are we doing here? Did he just go quiet on me?
Well, but I know that like you don't care.
What I'm saying is I don't treat it as a win. I'm just like, oh God, again, it's that thing I'm talking about. I thought we were having one conversation, but this dude just gave up. He did he's not even pretending to participate anymore. He's just going to be quiet until I drop this.
I'm trying to gather myself and figure out how to.
This has been a disaster for me.
No, I just sometimes need to slow down and consider what I'm saying.
I mean, I'm sure that's what's going on, dude. It's a good thing I'm not a more anxious person than I am, dude. It would be nerve-wracking. Do you know what it's like to talk to someone and they just stop talking? Has that ever happened to you?
Yeah.
I've never been able to do that to another person. As a lawyer, I could let silences be strategically because people get uncomfortable and they'll fill them. But in regular combo, it's hard for me.
Just there's times whenever I don't think that like when I'm at my most emotional is whenever I make my best points.
Yeah.
So rather than saying something that I'll surely have to walk back like 5 seconds from now whenever I think about it, how about I just try to let emotions recede till we can make something that we might be able to defend 5 minutes from now?
Yeah, I think is like realizing that the conversation has gotten emotional like that. I don't always realize that because we're talking about we don't own airlines, dude.
Yeah,
no one's asking us.
No, if you're making the point that it's irrational for me to care about these things, I mean,
No, I'm just saying I get taken aback because I don't realize that that's where the conversation is going. It's a struggle for me, dude. I don't know what it is. I lose the ability to read people in that regard sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I should care about this stuff. But I don't really control what I care about.
Yeah, I mean, here we are. We've struggled half our life with, at least for me, people telling you you're bad for what you care about. You should just care about what you care about, I think. Anyway, dude, I won't bring up politics.
Yeah, but the goal is happiness, right? And if I notice things that are consistently detracting from it, surely a modification would be helpful.
Yeah, I suppose. It's just, I guess that's the struggle.
Yeah.
To our earlier conversation, or to many of them.
What do you mean?
Well, like you were saying, like you could beat yourself up and try to lose weight or whatever, because there's messaging that your self-worth should be a function of that.
Mm-hmm.
So that I'm not saying this is true. I actually don't think this is true, but it's like an eye of the beholder thing. How it's like, all right, well, if happiness is my goal and I'm noticing that I feel bad about my weight, I guess I should lose weight. Okay. But maybe another way of looking at it is I'm noticing I feel bad every time I'm around people who make comments about how I should lose weight. Maybe I shouldn't hang out with those people. Or every time I watch a certain kind of media that puts
I just take
you know what I mean?
I mean, honestly, especially for most overweight people, I think I'm in the very bottom percentile of feeling bad about it. I think it's got a lot to do with because I was skinny for most of the time when people are speaking their minds most directly.
Uh-huh.
Both other kids are certainly willing to be clear about it, and adults feel fine telling kids
to lose weight.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
Huh. I was my weight gain was in my 20s.
Well, that's what I'm saying is because mine was mostly in my 20s, I think that I have less emotions about it than most people.
Yeah. Got it.
Like, I think that a lot of, like, the stigma of being fat is growing up fat. Like, that's the hard part. And I didn't do that. So I don't feel that emotional about it for the most part. But, you know, I like, you know, your thing of, like, if I'm feeling bad about it, I think the problem is, like, that I'm thinking about it at all, right? Like, like that I should just reject those messages. Like the problem is that the messages are incorrect. Like the messages are not based in logic. Like there's some logic there. I'm sure that like, you know, I could see someone like sitting back and like being non-logic, skinnier people are healthy. Yeah, true enough. But like
well, I mean, I hear you, but
that is flawed. Like I think 30% of obese people are heart healthy, and 60, and there's like 30% of skinny people are not heart healthy.
Well, yeah, dude. I will actually say, dude, I think it's equal. It is bullshit. And dude, when I lost a bunch of weight,
it's got a correlation to health, but it is not direct. It's not as strong as people purport it to be. That's true. That's true.
Well, I think it depends on so many things, dude. It's like BMI is another example of like, it depends on so many things, dude. Like Henry Rollins and I both have high BMIs, like a lot, because we're like short dudes who aren't like frail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
How short is Rollins?
He's pretty short, I think. I mean, I'm not super confident on it.
He looks like a normal sized guy in Heat.
No, he's like, no, I think everyone in Heat is small. Like,
that might be true.
Pacino's tiny, for sure.
I don't think he's ever with Pacino in the scene.
No, in Heat? Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying, like, that's the tiniest guy that comes to mind to me in Heat.
Yeah.
But, yeah, dude, Rollins, that's when I first was like, I think Rollins might not be as jacked as I think. Like, in that scene in Heat when he's, like, wearing sweatpants.
Yeah.
Like, right when he gets got. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Because that's like an original king in the gray sweats, dude. I was like, I don't know, man. He might just be a short guy who's like kind of jacked. But I don't know how it goes. Oh yeah, dude. I mean, so it's like this, all those studies when people are like, it's unhealthy to weigh this much, or I'm always thinking that's flawed. Like all of these, that's another thing where I just like reflexively dismiss all science. Because I'm like, this is an agenda. If the study didn't have an agenda, whatever dipshit wrote the popular science headline, like certainly got it kind of wrong. You know what I mean? But the only reason I brought it up was to say, like, it's like you could look at it many ways if your code word is happiness, because you can get unhappy because you internalize messages that maybe you shouldn't. And that can make you unhappy. And depending on, like, if you look at, like, where you define the source of the unhappiness, it's just like you can get tangled up because Jamie would be like, of course you're unhappy. You're fucking up. You're not doing what I tell you. And it's like, really, maybe you're unhappy because you're at Excel. You know what I mean? Like, I remember one time when I was depressed, I think I've mentioned this. Like, I was like, I'm really sad, dude. Something's wrong. And they were like, of course you are. You fucking suck. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm sure I internalized that, but that was really bad. Not helpful. That's all.
Yeah.
I don't remember where I was going with that, but I don't know. This has been a long one, dude. This is a good one. I think next week we should read the Communist Manifesto and talk about it.
Yeah, it seems dry.
I think Karl Marx was big into the invisible hand or other way around. Like one of them, the other, whoever likes them loves to be like, well, you know, they fucked with the other guy. Like, it's like either Marxist people love to be like Adam Smith. No, he wrote before Marx, though. So I bet it's Marx.
That sounds correct.
Yeah. I think in the Communist Manifesto, Karl Marx is like, Adam Smith basically got it right diagnostically, but we should just do something different about it. I think. Like, I mean, I'm sure I'm oversimplifying, but I do think it's
sounds
like
right. I mean, you know, like the policy I feel strongest about, I would say, is the social wealth fund, which has a similar dynamic. It accepts that financialization it doesn't reject financialization. It rests
It's just
upon
like,
it.
let us get in on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
Like,
that's smart.
yeah, whenever you think about it, like, seize the means of production. What are you going to do with them, pal? Like, do you know how to run the printing press? And, this figures it out. It's like, well, they solved this problem
The
for us.
invisible hand, dude.
They intentionally split up the ownership of the printing press while leaving in place a structure of how to run the printing press. And if you just buy up the pieces of this thing that they split, then it's your printing press.
Why don't they just do that?
We will.
But why doesn't some rich guy who believes this shit start doing that?
No rich people believe this shit.
None of them? Interesting. Then how's it going to happen? You voted it?
Hey, dude. We
I
collect.
don't want to start on the house.
We control a lot of wealth collectively.
Sure. You know what? God bless, dude. I hope it works out. I really do. I like it. Sounds good. Like, I think that's kind of my own lesson too on a lot of stuff like this. I just gotta be like, God bless. I hope it works out. Because my usual objections are not like that should never happen. It's envisioning some czar of America's stock portfolio who, like a new J. Edgar Hoover or whatever, but it's like some freak who, like, it's Pete Buttigieg, dude.
But there's already a person controlling the things that you're imagining this other person controlling.
Yeah.
And you didn't have any say in them. You don't even know what their name is. And they're having as much power and influence over your life as this person that you like. I'm saying it would be better if we like codified it and like had a system by which that person could be accountable.
See, and I guess I'm.
And like you'll point out that it's hard to make them accountable, and you'll be right. But like it's still worth trying.
To me, it's like a psycho who started a business or like sought to be good at a business. Yes, they're psycho, dude.
But the guy I'm talking about is not someone who sought to be good at a business. It's one of those fucking financial freaks. Like, who's more of a fucking psychopath?
Like a guy who sought to be like the third generation CEO of a large company. Like, those guys are equally psycho.
Like a hedge fund.
Like a guy who started his own hedge fund, dude. You can trust them. You can't trust them to like take care of your grandma, but you can trust them to act like themselves. You know what I mean? Like a guy like Pete Buttigieg, once he gets the power, he doesn't know what he's going to do with it, dude. It's like...
I just want to be exceptionally clear that I really don't want Pete Buttigieg involved in government.
I hope not, dude, but that's who seeks this out, dude. That's who seeks this out.
You think that like I'm like whenever I'm expressing my ideas, you're like, a classic Buttigieg voter.
Yes. The new Buttigiegs are going to be writing papers about the thing you just described because that's like the in vogue thing. If you're talking about it, it's in vogue. I don't know that it's in vogue, but if you're talking about it among a certain fucking, cadre, it's like it's enough, it's important enough and cool enough, in that set that some kid is going to try to impress like his fucking Stanford professor or whatever. By writing a paper about how awesome this is. I think that's what like Mark Fisher meant about like capital will take everything. Like it's easier to imagine the end of the world than the end of capital because capital comes through like little whippersnappers like that who take ideas like yours and are like, I will get to be the best apple polisher by being the best advocate like for this or whatever. And like, dude, I'm not saying cutting the checks is bad. Get the wealth fund going and stuff. But you got to watch out for these little grubby boys because right now...
Yeah, I know, I agree.
It's left-wing barbarians, dude. That's who's writing these new ideas. That's who's, putting them out there. But the only reason they get any traction is they get captured up by the next rounds. And they ultimately get put in place with the Buttigiegs and the bureaucracy, dude. And that's where, as an Excel kid, I just can't abide it, dude. It's like, it's not about the jocks versus the preps. It's about the kids who got kicked out of school and the kids who did the best at school. And I know which one I am. And I don't trust those other motherfuckers.
Do you?
I mean, I got kicked out of school and then did the best at the school for the kids who got kicked out of school.
Yeah.
That is true. But you didn't see me going to try and be in government afterwards. I ran from that kind of shit.
I mean, you became a lawyer.
Yeah, but I refused to be a judicial clerk. I wouldn't be on law review.
Yeah. So, like, amongst the people who were lawyers, you did these things.
Narcissism of small differences, to be sure.
Yeah.
But it's important to me.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely, dude. I definitely have zero interest in like being in the government.
Yeah,
dude.
just
Are
if-
you fucking kidding me?
No, I understand that. I'm not.
Can you
otherwise.
imagine? I would either do. If I
You
did
have
well.
to like it. Just someone who's interested in the facts might note that you chose a profession that is, like you saying. Well, obviously, I've stayed as far away from government as I can by joining the profession from which all government officials are selected.
That is true, dude. And I mean, one day we'll get into it, but for someone who hates rules as much as I do, so much
Spent
of
a
my
lot of
practice,
time studying them.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's a whole nother episode, but yeah, I was the rule dude, man. I was an expert on the laws of how you made rules at work. Can you imagine that? Like 18-hour days of just reading other companies' rules and just giving them advice on them. Oh my God, dude.
I mean, I understand it. Like, I hate rules, and so, I want to understand them. Like how can I effectively fight them without understanding them?
I think that's where it came from, dude. But, dude, it was NLRB bureaucrats doing stuff with rules.
I feel like because we're like in a phase where we're all trying to be nice, if we weren't in that phase, I feel like you then would turn my statement of, that I don't like rules, that's why I study them, is like, well, shouldn't you study the means by which they price fix in the airlines in order to understand?
That's true, dude.
But I would just say that the thing here that I have a problem with is not like the means by which that they are colluding. It's the, like point I'm trying to make about that whole thing is that like the collusion itself is the issue, and so like the means by which we arrive at that collusion. Like I'm interested in like what trying to answer the degree to which these have had. Like I want to understand how the actions they're taking affect the prices. Like I'm interested in those price effects. Whether or not the things that the airlines chose to do was formulated at a meeting where all of them were there, or a series of separate meetings where they all came to these conclusions, whatever. Like, all I know is that we're all paying more than we need to on airline tickets, and instead of getting better service, we're getting airlines that have more profits, and that's it. And
that's fair, dude. I don't want to. Yeah, thank you for clarifying that, dude.
Okay. Yeah.
What, dude?
Nah, you just, I don't know, I shouldn't have.
No, I mean, I know it's important to you to be clear when you express yourself. And I know it's not super important, but a thing to me to do a thing that I do nonetheless, which is to just be like, yeah, but what about? Which anytime you're saying anything, there's like always a fucking ambiguity or whatever, so I'm just sitting back and not doing the thing that I do so that we don't have the vicious cycle, dude. That's it. I just like, sure. I mean, I agree, dude. Yeah. Dude, I know very little also about how airline price fixing works. There's some like very cool story you can tell about this. I know an old antitrust lawyer, there's some cool thing about like, you can't do attempted collusion or something. So it's no crime to be really bad at it. Like the only crime is being good at it or something.
Yeah.
Like I can't remember. It's kind of cool.
I mean, you can see how that would function, right?
Yeah. But I don't know.
If you failed to fix the prices, then who gives a shit?
You just didn't fix the price. Yeah. I can't really, dude. It's interesting stuff. No one really does antitrust anymore.
I mean, your business about like why would they, or it's hard. Like I firmly believe that it is difficult to keep large secrets between large groups of people. Like that's why the 3-person rule at Excel was important. Mm-hmm. But like in the history of the world, this occurs. One of the most famous ones was in the 80s. There was baseball players didn't have free agency for a very long time. If you were drafted by a team, they would offer you a contract. You could either play for that team under that contract, or you could fucking go find another job. And
that's awful, dude.
I know.
Yeah, dude. I don't like that.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And that's like a bureaucracy thing, dude.
So the players organized into a union.
Okay.
And fought it.
That's when the MLB players unionized in the 80s?
No.
Oh.
The way it originally was.
Oh, okay. Like back
was
in the
like
day.
that.
Okay.
Over the course of the 60s and 70s, they unionized and fought more wins, or fought for more gains. In the mid 70s, maybe late 70s, I want to say 76.
Okay.
Is whenever they won free agency, where after, if you fulfilled certain obligations to the team, then your obligations to the team were done. You could sign with anyone you wanted for however much you wanted.
Okay.
Catfish Hunter went to the Yankees from the A's, I think.
Okay.
And then the owners, in response, were like, yo, some of you guys are giving out like serious money to these guys, and I don't like paying a lot because then I don't get to keep as much money.
Certainly.
And so they all got together and said, if you are going to bid for a player on another team, you got to call that GM and tell him how much you're bidding.
Wow.
And Tom Grieve, the Rangers GM at the time, beloved figure in the Metroplex, did the color and play-by-play, I think, for the games for quite some time. Might still have a couple every once in a while.
Okay.
Wrote it all down, and the notes were subpoenaed.
Wow.
And, someone once phrased it as they referenced the wire line that he really did take notes on a criminal conspiracy.
Oh, that fucking rules, man. That's funny.
And so there was years where players are like, we used to get much bigger offers. I wonder what's going on.
Yeah.
And then eventually, the union put together the suit and, found this note
of
Grieve being writing down, they said we should collude.
God damn, dude. That rules. That's so funny, dude. I love that.
But I don't, that's labor issues. That was my entry into them is reading
shit.
about, There's a book called Lords of the Realm. Lays out that story and many others. I think that you would like it.
Yeah, maybe I'll check it out.
Since unions are, have been a part of your professional life.
Yeah. That's interesting, man. There's a whole kind of arbitration called baseball arbitration that.
Oh, yeah. I love it. I wish we'd do baseball arbitration for everything.
Dude, I know labor lawyers who are always like, well, you know what we could do? And it's the other side will not be interested. Stop.
Why?
We're never going to do baseball arbitration.
Why not?
I don't really even get what it is. Is it where the arbitrator gets to basically be like, I have a solution?
No.
Okay.
Each side submits an offer. He picks one of the offers. That's all.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting game theory to think it through.
It is.
I was thinking the arbitrator also gets to be like, I have a third way. And it's for a wage standardization or something.
He gets to pick either side, and both sides can fire him.
But you replace him from someone on a roster or something? What happens when you fire him?
Hire another one that everyone agrees on.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
And my recollection of the way that it would describe it in the book is that a lot of the big cases, it was just understood that it was your end of the time on the board.
Yeah, well, it seems like
if you're in a giant fucking case, no side's going to be happy with you. So hope you enjoyed your time as an arbitrator.
Yeah, that's an interesting point to rich people points and ownership of boards. I remember I think it's a similar thing because you have to be willing to get fired. I remember also similarly, once I got a job offer to get the title of general counsel of a company, but I was going to be reporting to the head of HR, not the board. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'm a staff member on HR. So it's I could be the only lawyer and a bunch of shit goes wrong. And then I'm the only lawyer at the company and it looks like it's all my fault because I have a law degree, but I'm just, I have to report. Basically, I was like, I have to report to the board and the CEO. And they were like, yeah, no, it's not so I couldn't take the job. But it's similarly because you have to be willing to be this is a line I'm drawing. Otherwise, you're not good at giving advice. So I took a class at the business school at UT, because you could get credit for law school.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, if a certain low number. Mm-hmm. It's so funny, dude. So I also took a class at the LBJ school. And it's I went every class, but I didn't do much. And it's just, dude, law school's harder. I'm sorry, dude. So I'm
not here to say that people with political science degrees are the best.
Dude.
I don't know. I don't care.
I had a friend that was getting a dual degree and they were trying to get what should our slogan be? They were making t-shirts for intramurals or whatever. the LBJ public policy people were. And his suggested slogan was LBJ school, we're good enough for government work. Like, you know, because that expression.
I like it.
I don't think it won him many friends.
Oh.
But it's kind of like
bad.
what they're doing. But anyway, all he said at the business school was the guy was like, when you're selecting your board, they have to be so rich that whatever you pay them doesn't matter to them. And you have to pay them at least like six figures for sure. Because it's like, otherwise your board is scrub as fuck. Like if you have a bunch of people on your board that don't make over six figures, you know what I mean? It's like, why are you taking their advice about making money?
I mean, you can quite clearly see, you know, how some problems might stem up
Obviously,
from that.
that's why I'm saying it to you, to rile you up, dude. Because it's like, what the fuck, dude? But then it's kind of like, well, if your board members are like, I can't pay my mortgage if I don't stand up to the CEO, they're also bad board members. So they kind of do need to be, they can't be financially dependent on their role as a board member, which means they need to be financially independent. You know what I mean? Like,
well, what about this? What about if we introduced a rule where we said that a certain share of the board members had to be elected by the workers of the company, Alex?
Yeah, dude, for sure, dude. Then I'm familiar with that, dude. You could go further than that, dude. You could put it into the collective bargaining agreement. Like, I mean, you could do all that. Yeah. They get a vote usually.
Think it'd be better off if it were the case.
I mean, I see how you would think that. I haven't seen it make huge differences either way. Like, I haven't seen it, like, stop much.
I mean, has that ever been, like, enacted?
Yeah, for sure. I mean...
It's enacted in other countries. I'm well aware of that.
Yeah, the way you get it here is
but
when the union...
But I think that generally those countries have less inequality than we do.
Yeah, maybe. But maybe that's why it got enacted there. You know what I mean? Like... It's not necessarily that one followed the other. Because I'm saying there are companies in America...
I bet that someone could, an economist could look at that and figure out
yeah, for
that
sure.
question.
But none of us are smart enough to look at it from a different perspective, or at least you or me, maybe you. I'm not smart enough to look at it and then be like, is he slanting this or not? Like, I'm sure there are no shortage of economists who can write it both ways.
Yeah, but if they slant it in my favor, then I'll think that they're right.
Exactly. I know. That's
but I mean,
they
probably will be.
So I'm sure you think that. That's why I have no use for information at this point. I really don't.
Well, I appreciate you being honest about that.
For sure, dude. Like, I refuse to admit that humans reproduce through having sex last week, or it took like 5 minutes. Remember?
I think he admitted it faster than that.
Faster than that. Yeah, that's what, I just have no use for this shit. Everyone's skewing it to support their own positions. That's what I'm saying. That's why it's like my personal experience. I fall back on that so much.
I don't know. Like, I think I think that's the point that I'm trying to make with some of this stuff is like, you have correct ideas that you weigh too heavily.
For sure.
Like,
I weigh them not at all, dude, but I say them too heavily, I think.
But I'm saying like skepticism of evidence, like, of course.
Yeah.
Like, obviously that's correct. But like, if you let it be like your only overriding concern,
that's true.
Then like, you're not going to know anything.
I agree, dude. I agree with that, dude. But, you know, how much can you know, dude? Socrates didn't know much, and they killed him for it. You know what I'm saying?
Dude.
That's what they killed him for.
I do know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I understand
that's
all
my
the parts of that.
Yeah. Being so into being dumb that
Fuck
you're willing to die for
Socrates.
it. Yeah, I understand that.
Were you the guy? You were the friend?
No, yeah, I would, dude. I would love it, dude.
Fuck him up.
Definitely. As we were saying, that I was growing into that role in all scraps of being the small guy telling his larger friends to fuck somebody else up.
Yeah, for sure.
I prefer that role, for sure. Definitely. Yeah. No, man. I forgot. Oh, dude, all I was going to say is there are companies where the unions have board seats in America, for sure. That's all I'm saying.
Not enough. Not enough seats. Hey, not enough companies.
My new thing. God bless. I hope it works out, dude. I don't think the world will get worse. Like if you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like this new thing, like the same thing where like in California or whatever, you have to have a certain number of women on the board. Do you think that's going to be like a magic pill? No. But it's like, is it going to make things worse? Probably not. You know what I'm saying? I've seen Michael Clayton. I know that a woman on the board can take orders from an evil, mentor and then try to hurt Michael Clayton. So it's not a magic pill.
Yeah, no.
But sure. The current crop isn't doing a bang up job.
And I mean, I feel the same way about like the overweighing of, you know, like obviously, like, I don't know, dude. It blows my mind whenever you're like presenting me as someone who's reflexively has positive opinions about politicians. When like, I think that most like people would be frustrated that like that there's no like. You have to know, because I'm sure you've experienced this dynamic several times yourself, that if there are two candidates for president and you don't like either of them, people don't tend to like that very much.
I do. That shit pisses me off, man.
What?
I agree that people get pissed off like that.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, no one. Dude, again.
That's what I've been living through for the last year.
It works out for you.
You know, so like, you know.
Because you don't like Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Yeah. People, dude, to me, also, you can't say
paint
anything
me
bad
as like the guy
Kamala
who just
Harris.
loves politicians, when like I don't like any of the major ones currently, you know, like
Yeah, but I feel
no
like
one
you
currently
like
holds
being
any levers of power.
You like being the dedicated opposition on the left. It seems like you're comfortable in that role.
I don't want to be the opposition.
I get it. I know. But it seems
There's
like
certainly people in my group that like to
have a group.
complain.
I guess that's what I'm saying. You have a group that you consider your politics in group. I try not to.
And a lot of those people like to only complain.
Like, I fucking hate any. Like, who is this group?
And
dude?
that's not me.
How can you be in a group? Like, I know you have been in them before.
But I'm not like in a group. I don't like have a card, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, all I'm saying is that, like, you know, I have a way of looking at the world, and some other people share major elements of it, which like is true of you, dude.
I'm sure.
So,
although, dude, I've never found a group where I can comfortably. Maybe it's just.
Well, again, it's not like meetings. It's that I listen to a couple podcasts where I enjoy, you know, I agree with a lot of the points.
This is the first one for me.
Just the one that you're on?
For sure. Yeah.
Whatever, dude.
Yeah. No, I mean, you know, it's all good.
If I had $1 for every time you told me, hey, this is a great point I heard on Rogan.
That's true. I was about to say, what podcast is he about to say that, like, to accuse me of listening of? But you hit me with the truth, dude. It's not like I'm a huge Rogan head, dude.
Every time I come over, dude, it's, hey, have you heard the new Matt and Shane?
Yeah. Well, we have to do an episode about that. But, yeah, that's not really politics, though.
I don't know what they do. I've only heard a minute or two.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, dude, with everything going on.
I think you know which minute.
Yeah, I was about to say, dude, we better not. Let's end it.
Yeah, all right.